You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
More Tennesseans are reacting to a bill that would allow teachers to carry a gun on campus. It is now on its way to the governor's desk. We're going to tell you why some school districts are already opting out. Turn down the noise. That is the complaint from one local neighborhood. They say they are fed up with the sound of construction during all hours of the night. We're going to tell you what's being done to try and stop this and why a train is involved.
Waking up dry and cooler, but the afternoon looks great. Rain returns overnight tonight and could be into a good portion of your Friday. We'll time it out for you in your forecast.
All right, thank you, Greg, and thank you for joining us here on Fox 17 News this morning. It is a Thursday morning, April the 25th, and I'm Justin McFarland. We do begin this morning with people in Sylvan Heights. That's over in West Nashville. They are very frustrated because of railroad construction that's going on all hours of the night. It is legal because there's no ordinance against that in that particular neighborhood preventing construction work. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar live over in Sylvan Heights to tell us exactly what people are experiencing and what's being done to try to stop it.
Good morning, Justin. Imagine getting ready for bed and then all of a sudden you can't sleep because of loud construction noises. Well, that's what the people in the Sylvan Heights neighborhood are experiencing, and it's all coming because of construction that's being done on the railroad behind me down the road near Lookout and Centennial by CSX. Multiple people are complaining that they are hearing grinding metal and screeching from around 9 at night until the early morning hours. Other people are even complaining about the fumes. Council member Brenda Gadd says she is looking into doing something about it.
Very appreciative of constituents who have emailed and called. They are experiencing noise, issues with loud noises throughout the night. And also what's come to my attention are also odors or fumes that are coming from the work site and probably a part of the work product. So as soon as I received some information there, I reached out. I've made a couple of phone calls and made some contact, one with CSX.
I reached out to CSX as well to find out how long this railroad construction will go on for and if they plan to change the hours to help prevent these frustrated residents from not getting enough sleep. Reporting live in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
All right, Karen, thank you so much. Well, Fox 17 News is working to determine more information after a fire destroys a home in Clarksville. Take a look at the screen. You can see the damage there. Dramatic video shared with us from Dash 10 Media. The house sustained major damage with the fire, leaving just a shell of the home there on the north side of the city of Clarksville. This all happened around 6 o'clock last night. Clarksville police tells Fox 17 News that everyone was able to make it out safely. The investigation as to the cause of the fire is ongoing.
And I think we've forgotten to listen to them, and then not only teachers, but parents.
There's a lot of misrepresentation about this legislation.
Well, the discussion continues as more Tennesseans are now reacting to a bill that would allow teachers to carry a gun in the classroom is now on the governor's desk. If he signs it, it becomes law. This morning, we're also learning that some mid-state school districts are already opting out of such a thing. Now, some people believe our state leaders are not listening to them when it comes to this particular issue, especially those impacted like teachers and parents. Bill West is a retired SRO, school resource officer, and the former president of the National Association of SROs. He says he does not think having teachers carry guns on the campus and in classrooms is a good thing.
If a teacher is armed and they have a classroom, are they going to leave that classroom to go after a gunman? What if they fail to respond at all? The training is what concerns me. So far, I really haven't seen anything that they would be required to be on the gun range regularly. It sounds like it's just regular training.
Well, even though the governor has not signed the bill yet, Metro schools, along with Sumter County schools and Rutherford County schools, have already publicly said that they will not be implementing this particular policy. Well, crisis in the classroom is Fox 17 News' commitment to exposing problems in the schools and finding solutions. If you think you have a story that we should know about, you can send us an email. You can find us at news@fox17.com, or you can call our tip line, leave us a message, 615-266-4149. Let's get to Greg Clovis. He's got a look at your Thursday forecast.
That we do, and today starting off with no rain, no fog, just a nice clear, but also cooler start to the day. Rain after sunset tonight into tomorrow. I've added a couple extra hours worth of rain for your Friday, so it's not going to be a dry day by any means, but we'll get it out of the way before the weekend gets here. It's also when the 80s return to the forecast. Storms next week, Monday into Tuesday. Good bet we see some. As far as how strong they'll be, they look on the weaker side right now, which is good news. 52 degrees, current temperature, clear overnight into this morning. That's why we are a little bit cooler than yesterday, but still by no means as chilly as we were when we started the week. Taking a look, 40s through southern Kentucky. We have 53 right now in Murfreesboro, 51 in Lewisburg, and 46 in Columbia. So a light jacket this morning will probably do enough to get you from point A to point B as you're getting out of the car and heading inside. Lunchtime forecast will be in the upper 60s to right near 70 degrees. Clouds increase the second half of today. We'll pinpoint that rain timing in your Code Red forecast.
Steer clear traffic out there for you. Let's get to the very latest happening on I-65 here at Trinity Lane on that north side. You can see there for yourself, traffic moving along very nicely. No big problems in either direction out there. If something does happen, we got you covered with Steer Clear Traffic. We're here with you. Got you covered live through 9. Well, moving on up. Big news from the Franklin Police Department as potential recruits are now celebrating. And the end of a discussion. We've got an update on a bill
who then commit more violent crimes.
Innocent people get victimized and oftentimes killed.
We look at multiple cases with the same result. Fox 17 News investigates Thursday at 9.
There can never be a morally appropriate reason for unjustly depriving a person of their God-given liberty and selling them into servitude. This is true whether the enslaver is an African monarchy or a Mexican cartel. It is also true whether the transaction...
To say to anyone, local government, to individuals, you cannot and you should not study reparations. It's ugly. For lack of a better word, it's ugly.
News from Tennessee's politics scene this morning. We've got a follow-up after weeks of heated debate like the words you just heard. A Tennessee House kills the bill that would have banned local governments from paying or studying to dispense money for reparations due to slavery. Now, the proposal was initially introduced 1 year ago. Interest in the reparations bill emerged again this year, just as lawmakers and Governor Bill Lee were in the process of finalizing the removal and replacement of every board member of the state's only public funded historically black college and university. We're talking about Tennessee State. Now, many other states have also made a move to try to study reparations, including places like California, New Jersey, and Vermont. But again, the bill here in Tennessee has now died for this particular session, so local jurisdictions could continue to do that if they wanted. Well, changing the way you use social media, there is a push for the approval of a brand new bill that would require stricter age limits and parental consent for social media. The proposal is now headed to Governor Lee's desk. Although there are already age restrictions in some places on social media sites, under this particular bill, if companies do not comply, they open themselves up to a lawsuit by Tennessee's Attorney General. Now, to follow updates on the Protecting Children from Social Media Act, be sure to follow us on social media. You can download our Fox 17 mobile app. Well, the city of Franklin just approved raises for the Franklin Police Department, as well as the Board of Mayor and Aldermen. This all happened at a meeting this week. Now, starting officers there in Franklin with no previous experience will start out at $60,000 a year. Existing officers will receive a 3% pay raise. The police chief, Deb Faulkner, released a statement saying, quote, "I encourage anyone who wants a rewarding career in a city that values and supports its police officers to apply." There's a link if you want to do just that on our website at fox17.com.
Coming up in your Code Red forecast, we are dry for right now on the radar, and that will be the case through all hours of daylight. But tonight into tomorrow, the next weather maker arrives. We'll time it hour by hour.
And steer clear traffic looking good so far at 65 at Trinity Lane there on the north side. We're going to tell you about some other areas of town coming up in a few.
The Supreme Court set to decide.
Correct. Deal. Captain D's $5.99 meal deals. Incredible price, irresistible taste.
4:14 is the time. A live look this morning from the 5 Points neighborhood down there in Franklin. If you're looking for something to do this weekend, the 40th annual Main Street Festival, sponsored by First Horizon, is set to take place there in historic Franklin. The event begins at 10 a.m. There will be multiple activities throughout the weekend. For the first time in history, the United States Supreme Court will be weighing in on whether or not a former president can be indicted for actions taken during their time in office. The justices will be hearing opening arguments today about whether or not former President Donald Trump and his claim that he cannot face prosecution for his actions during his time in office leading up to January 6th. Fox 17 News Ultra Al-Nashar has the very latest.
Former President Trump bringing his untested legal claim to the Supreme Court that all presidents must have complete and total presidential immunity, or the authority and decisiveness of a president of the United States will be stripped and gone forever. According to special counsel Jack Smith, Trump's actions toward the end of his presidency amount to conspiracy to defraud the United States, obstruction and conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding, and conspiracy to prevent others from carrying out their constitutional rights.
The president has a unique constitutional role, but he is not above the law.
Trump's lawyers say a president can only be prosecuted if Congress indicts and convicts him.
To authorize the prosecution of a president for his official acts would open a Pandora's box from which this nation may never recover.
The top Republican in the Senate said quite the opposite after the impeachment trial in February 2021, shortly after Trump left office.
Impeachment was never meant to be the final forum for American justice. President Trump is still liable for everything he did while he was in office.
The lower courts rejected Trump's argument, and many legal scholars expect the Supreme Court to do the same. But the justices could go further.
Instead of asking if presidents have absolute immunity from prosecution, they're now asking whether and to what extent. It's likely that the court will use this case to carve out a broader precedent.
When the court releases its decision is almost as crucial as the decision itself.
It's very likely we wouldn't see a decision until the very end of the term, think the end of June. And so if the court was to send it back down to a lower court, it's highly unlikely that we would see a trial before the November election.
If the Supreme Court dismisses Trump's immunity claim and does not send it back to the lower courts, the special counsel's team could get their case back up and running right away. But even then, they'd be pressed for time to get their case in front of a jury before Americans vote in November. In Washington, I'm Ultra Al-Nashar.
In Operation Crime and Justice, 11 Republicans who submitted a document to Congress falsely declaring that President Trump beat Joe Biden in the Arizona 2020 presidential election have now been charged with conspiracy, fraud, and forgery. Now, this is the fourth state to bring charges against fake electors. The defendants include the former chair of the Arizona Republican Party, as well as a former U.S. Senate candidate and 2 sitting state lawmakers. President Biden won the state of Arizona by more than 10,000 votes during the 2020 election. Well, check this out. Clouds of dust blown in from the Sahara Desert are turning Greece's capital into something that looks like it could be from a different planet. We have not adjusted the color of the video. This is what it actually looks like there in Greece. That yellow-orange haze covers Athens and other Greek cities. Officials call it one of the worst episodes of dust and sand concentrations to hit this country in several years, maybe since 2018. Authorities warn that dust concentration could pose risk for people dealing with underlying health problems. The Greek Weather Service forecasts that skies would begin to clear as the week continues on. looks like we saw a video like that coming out of places like New York, San Francisco. The wildfires, in that case, the Canadian wildfires, blowing dust and particles over here was causing that. Sounds like it's a little different over there.
Yeah, a little different over there. I mean, we have the dust and stuff from the wildfires. What they've got is a little different, but all of it just comes down to, can you breathe when you walk out the door? Whether it's that or what we have right now, we don't get much of that. We have the allergies that are rocking. I mean, they have been tough. So our respiratory thing here back home, that's going to be the case here for the course of the next couple of days. Now, what's going to help will be some rain late tonight into tomorrow. We're going to have our weather maker move in that will bring us a few scattered showers. It's not going to be anything that we have to really worry about in terms of intensity or worried about severe weather, but there could be maybe a boom of thunder, and that rain will help knock a little bit of the pollen back down to ground level and give us a little bit of relief for at least the end of your Friday and the first half of Saturday. Taking a look at future track, today is going to stay dry, but clouds will increase. Here's 4 p.m. We start clear. By then, west of I-65 and south of I-40, fairly cloudy. 4 o'clock goes into the overnight hours. We'll stop here right around midnight, and you can see a few isolated showers already popping up in our western counties, and then everything begins to move in. Tomorrow morning, I will be actively tracking rain on the radar here through 6, 7, 8, and 9 o'clock in the morning. And then the afternoon, lunchtime, noon, takes it out toward the Cumberland Plateau, and we're done by 4. So Friday evening, Friday night plans, they're fine, but morning and afternoon, that rain going to move in for us. What to wear today? A light jacket, maybe a little sweater this morning, and then it really will be shorts and t-shirt weather later on this afternoon because temperatures are going to be very nice. We're back into the middle 70s very quickly by about mid-afternoon. 83 degrees temperature tomorrow, 83 on Saturday, 85 on Sunday. You see right there on your screen, we have the two Preds home games on Friday and Sunday. We'll look at those forecasts. We'll also talk about the Rock and Roll Marathon for Saturday coming up in just a few minutes.
Clear traffic for you this morning at 420. Quick look outside at I-40 at Dallas and Pike, very close to the airport. You can see there traffic moving along without issue. We're doing fine in both directions so far this morning. So far is the key word. Things can and will change coming up here a little bit later. We got you covered with Clear traffic live and local through 9. That is the sound that pro-Palestinian protesters are making at universities across the country. This was the scene yesterday at the University of Southern California, known as USC. This happened on Wednesday afternoon. This also comes as the University of Texas in Austin also had a very large group of students walk out of class. This is all part of a pro-Palestinian demonstration. The unrest is leading some students, especially Jewish students, to fear for their safety as the Passover holiday is now underway.
They haven't been able to step in, and we've been saying, can you walk us home? Could you please stop these people from harassing us?
The situation is still unfolding as the Passover holiday is happening. Well, many people are still trying to wrap their heads around the sudden, unexplained death of Mendiza. We're going to tell you how this Christian music singer is being remembered. We're taking a live look this morning from Detroit, Michigan. That is home of the NFL draft, which gets started tonight. The Tennessee Titans have the number 7 overall pick. This is at Hart Plaza there in Detroit, not too far from the riverfront there in that city.
And the insurance company are not concerned with the victim. I was worried about being able to pay my bills. I enjoyed you representing me because I knew I had to have the best.
Mendiza is the epitome of overcomer. Her smile, her tenacious personality, her love for God, and the fact that she insists on everybody that she's in contact with to be an overcomer.
We are taking a look at our Fox 17 News website. Many people are still mourning the loss of the late Christian artist Mendiza. Now, a Nashville choir group at Fisk University is dedicating a song at their annual commencement ceremony. There will also be a memorial for the Fisk University family coming up on April 26th, with the official service happening on Saturday, April 27th at the Brentwood Baptist Church. Mendiza died back on April the 18th. She was 47 years old. She even made an appearance right here at Fox 17 several years ago. If you want to, you can check that out on our YouTube channel. We've got it up and it's already got tens of thousands of views. Well, the time is almost here. The St. Jude's Rock and Roll Running Series is coming back to Nashville, and it's all for a good cause. Fox 17 News photojournalist Kevin Mumphrey, they're on the scene this morning down at the Music City Center. Now, this event brings a lot of big fun and a lot of support for children with life-threatening diseases. The marathon starts not too far from the convention center. The convention center, of course, is where they're going to have lots and lots of people gathering there to get their numbers and tie their shoes and do all that, the big convention space there. In the meantime, there will be lots and lots of closures along the race route itself. It will begin at 8th Avenue and Broadway and take it all the way down to Nissan Stadium. The official race days are Saturday and Sunday. And again, watch out for the road closures across that particular region because of this race.
And the big question was, as people train for this for so long, you get ready for that day, and you need to have good weather, and we're going to give it to you here. The forecast has changed for the better every day throughout this week. No changes since yesterday, but if we can keep it right where it's at, I think we're going to be in a pretty good place for runners and also spectators and supporters on Saturday morning. Mild morning, 68 degrees at 7 o'clock, 74 degrees at 10. Still a little bit of a breeze in the forecast here. South wind 10 to 20 miles per hour. Rain chance nearly zero the entire day. So whether you're actually lacing them up or you're making the signs going into the weekend to support and cheer everyone else on, a really good looking forecast for Saturday. Maybe after that you want to head to Franklin. Main Street Festival in Franklin. Warm days on Saturday and Sunday. Breezy for Saturday, but mainly dry both days. Temperatures are going to hover in the low to middle 80s. Not much humidity. I would say, though, grab your sunscreen. It's going to be loaded with some sunshine. You can start getting a sunburn this time of the year. But let's rewind. Something else happens before we even get into any of that. Friday night, 80 degrees at 6:30. That is puck drop for the Predators playoff game at Bridgestone Arena. Mostly sunny getting into the stadium, so nothing to worry about there. And then we have afternoon high temperatures that will be in the low 80s. If you want to spend a little extra time before the game downtown around Lower Broadway, you don't need to have any worries about any rain.
Hi, good morning. Steer clear traffic takes us out to I-40 at, actually it's 24 at Hickory Hollow Parkway. We're going to give you the very latest on that coming up here in the next few minutes. Plus, granting clemency. Coming up, we're going to take a look.
Volunteer plus enjoy a selfie station, face and hair painting, and group warm-ups before the race. Visit gotrmiddletn.org for more details.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Some people in the Sylvan Heights neighborhood aren't able to sleep because of construction noises. Coming up, I'll tell you where those noises are coming from and what a councilwoman is doing about it.
Waking up this morning here crystal clear, but also pretty cool, about 10 degrees cooler than yesterday morning. However, we're heating up to the 80s when they get here, and how many days in a row we'll see that number hit the thermometer.
Steer clear traffic at I-40 at Donaldson Pike out near the airport. We're doing fine out there this morning. No big problems. We're continuing to watch the roads for you with steer clear traffic. Good morning. Thank you for joining us here on Fox 17 News this morning, just after 4:30 here on this Thursday. And I'm Justin McFarland. We do begin with an update this morning from a Davidson County judge who has now set bond at $2.5 million. This is for the man accused of poisoning his pregnant girlfriend. We're talking about the former Tennessee Titans scout, Blaze Taylor. He's now been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. He is accused of poisoning his girlfriend, Jade Benning, back on February of 2023. Benning and the unborn child also died there in that poisoning. Now, Taylor was arrested in Utah earlier this month. His next court appearance is set for May the 9th. President Joe Biden has now granted executive clemency to 16 people living right here in the state of Tennessee. The list includes Xavier Martinez as well as, or Martez rather, Panel of Clarksville, Parnell of Clarksville. He was sentenced to 25 years in prison for drug possession with the intent to distribute. The president also reduced his sentence to 17.5 years to be followed by 10 years of supervised release. Now, the others from Tennessee were also doing time for drug charges. Well, people in Sylvan Heights are very frustrated because of railroad construction that's going on all hours of the night. It's all because it is legal. There is no ordinance in that neighborhood that will prevent construction crews from working during these hours. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar is live in Sylvan Parks. It's over in West Nashville. It tells exactly what people are experiencing and what's being done to stop it.
Here in the Sylvan Heights neighborhood, some people getting ready to drive to work this morning might be tired on the road, and that's because they say that overnight construction noises have been keeping them awake. People are complaining that starting at 9 at night until the early morning hours, they are hearing metal grinding and screeching. They say that it's all coming from construction on this railroad behind me down the road near Lookout and Centennial Drive from CSX. They also say that there are smells coming from the construction. You might remember there was a similar issue in the Gulch with construction noises that resulted in a bill to help with that. But Brenda Gadd, the neighborhood's councilwoman, says this is a public works infrastructure, so it might be a little more challenging to make it stop.
I've also sent inquiry to our codes department to understand if we're able to enforce any type of the noise ordinance, the Metro noise ordinance. At this time, I've been informed that the railroad work is considered the public works infrastructure, and there's an exemption under our Metro noise ordinance there. So we're looking at other ways that we can perhaps preserve the quality of life for neighbors that are living near us there.
Gadd tells me that she's coming to this neighborhood later today to talk with people about what they're experiencing. And she tells me that she's reached out to multiple agencies to try to figure out a way to make that construction stop during the overnight hours. I reached out to CSX to find out how long this construction will last and other plans that they have to potentially try to stop that construction during the hours that I had mentioned earlier. At this time, we haven't heard back yet. Reporting live in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
4:34, the big three things to know, getting you from today into tomorrow and then eventually finally getting toward the weekend. Clouds will gradually increase throughout the late afternoon and evening hours. This morning going to start off with some beautiful sunshine. Touch cooler. Right side of your screen, we're in the 40s and 50s this morning. It's about 10 degrees cooler than the same start yesterday. Taking a look here, highs will be in the 70s, so no surprises this afternoon. Rain arrives overnight tonight into your Friday. We'll call it mainly after midnight for the majority of us, and doesn't get completely out of Middle Tennessee until middle afternoon tomorrow. Right now, 52 degrees, crystal clear, which means that with the sunrise, not for almost 2 hours from right now, we will see our temperatures falling into the upper 40s in Nashville before they get that rebound back to the 70s. Many of us already are in the 40s. Dickson at 46, same with Columbia, 49 degrees in Lawrenceburg, 45 in Tullahoma. Not a bad start, just a little bit cooler and not nearly as cold as earlier in the week, but a jacket probably a good idea for you. Lunchtime forecast. You can grab a bite to eat outside, but still might want the layers going on today is probably your best bet. 67 degrees at 11, 72 at 1 p.m. Let's look at your 7-day forecast and start piecing everything together into and out of your upcoming weekend. Afternoon high of 75. Tomorrow, 83. Then we continue with 80s. 83 on Saturday, 85 on Sunday, 83 on Monday. Now, the rain chances tomorrow, they're going to be there, so we'll look at that on Future Track. But also, I'll give you my first thoughts about thunderstorms for Monday and Tuesday of next week.
Steer clear traffic out there for you this morning at 4:36. Quick look here at I-40 at Dawson Pike, close to the airport. As you can see, traffic out there moving along very, very nicely. No big problems in either direction out there so far, but things can and will change, and when they do, we got you covered with Steer Clear Traffic live and local through 9. The story about arming teachers in schools is one of our top trending stories this morning. We are asking you to let your voice be heard over our X account. if you would like to see your teachers armed with guns or not, either way you look at the situation, we want to hear from you. Now, right now, we're asking, would you be okay with your child's teacher being armed? 70% of you say yes, 30% of you say no. There's still plenty of time to chime in for yourself. You can do so over on our X page. You can find us at Fox Nashville. And thank you so much for voting. Well, the cicadas are coming. And people here in the mid-state are not the only ones who are worried about this. We're going to tell you why the pesky critters have one city calling the police. Plus, building up the city, a major software company
on Wednesday,
providing you the information needed to prepare and stay safe. Fox 17 News, your Code Red station. Alerts, empowers, protects.
4:39, almost 4:40 is the time. If you're looking for something to do this weekend, listen up. On Saturday, the celebrity chef and entrepreneur Paula Deen will be here in Nashville for a book signing. Now, Paula Deen is scheduled to visit the Paula Deen's Family Kitchen location that's over there in Opry Mills. She says she's looking forward to getting back to the city of Nashville. Doors will open up at 2 p.m. Well, they are big, they are very pesky, and yeah, they make a lot of noise. Cicadas are emerging this year, and you'll be seeing twice the amount that you normally may see. According to experts, some trillion cicadas will start appearing next month. Now, emerging cicadas are so loud in one South Carolina county that residents are calling the sheriff's office to see what they can do to lower the noise. It sounds like a siren, they say, or a loud roar. The police had to issue a statement letting people know that these are the sounds that cicadas make, and they're not sirens at all. It's just the male cicadas singing to attract mates. That's all it is.
That's all. That's all. It's why I don't sing, because if my singing sounds like a siren, we have a whole other issue right there in itself too. 75 degrees. Temperature later on this afternoon. Right side of the screen though is showing you some 40s and 50s. Dry all day long. Still a little breeze this morning. That'll die down. Sunset 7:30. A little bit cloudier once we approach sunset. Keep that in mind. Not the unlimited sunshine for today. So knowing when to get yard work done, I put a big old red light on Friday. Today looks good, Saturday looks good, but tomorrow there will be rain that tracks in morning into the afternoon, and then the grass will be wet for the rest of the days. Just keep that in mind. We're kind of bookending the next 3 days with when you can get out there and maybe cut the grass just real quick here before we head in toward the weekend. Looking at the screen right now, QR code. You can download the Fox 17 Code Red weather app. That'll help you track that rain tomorrow. Whether it's in your neighborhood or not, you'll know before it gets to you, and that'll help work you through anything we see tomorrow, and then also Monday and Tuesday when a few thunderstorms could be in the forecast.
Circular traffic, let's get out the door this morning. Let's get over to I-40 at Donaldson Pike over there close to the airport. As you can see, traffic there in that location moving along fine. We're also doing wide open and good across all the city. This is a wide view of the city on our map here. You know where you live, right? You know where you live on the map? Well, you can see how traffic would affect you this morning. We're all in the green so far out there, no matter where you're coming from, north, south, east, and west. Well, setting the draft board. Let's move on to the Tennessee Titans. We're going to tell you how they are ranking the big talent in round one. Plus, there's always something going on here in Music City. Tonight, country music superstar. Can we call him a legend yet? He's a legend, I think. Tim McGraw will be hitting the stage over at Bridgestone Arena. This is all part of his standing room only tour.
Put on your screen to apply for the Sinclair Broadcast Group Diversity Scholarship. The deadline is April 30th. Visit sbgi.net/scholarship.
All right, everybody, the time for talk is almost over. The NFL draft will get started coming up here later tonight, and the Titans will be picking with the number 7 overall pick in the first round. Fox 17 Sports Director Joe Jelnick has more on how the team is preparing and why they're trying to be flexible out there when it comes to their game plan.
NFL draft less than 24 hours away, and the Tennessee Titans say for all intensive purposes, their draft board is done. General Manager Ran Carthon saying they first stacked the board vertically based off of player talent and then horizontally with those same players, but with other varying factors. Now, just because the board is done doesn't mean things will change on draft night. Both Carthon and head coach Brian Callahan saying they are listening to all options, other teams, and will continue to do so throughout the weekend and always make sure they have the best interest of the team in mind.
People are nosy, and I think we owe it, to our organization. I owe it to Coach Callahan and his staff to, listen to all calls, no matter where they fall, just to see if it's anything enticing. If it's anything that's going to, blow us away to make us really want to, trade back. But we're just listening at this point.
Sometimes you can't project it. You don't know that that's what's going to happen. But I think there's enough good players the odds are in the favor that there's going to be some guys that can play that aren't getting picked in the top 25 picks. There's some depth of the class, and there's some good players that aren't going to go in the first round that'll probably play meaningful football for a lot of teams.
The biggest area of need for the Titans going into the draft is offensive line, specifically that left tackle position. But General Manager Ran Carthon also said they're looking for blue chips. A blue chip is a player that can start right away, a plug-and-play kind of player. Of course, they're looking for that in their offensive linemen, but they're also looking for blue chips all throughout the weekend. First round of the draft starts 7 p.m. on Thursday night, and as always, Fox 17 will have you covered. Reporting from the Titans practice facility, Jill Jelnick, Fox 17 Sports, your Code Red station.
All right, well, let's get to hockey. This morning, the Nashville Predators were able to even their first round series event against Vancouver with a big win in Game 2 of that series. 4-1 was the final score. Now, the score suggests the Preds were pretty hot offensively. They weren't. They scored 4 goals on just 16 shots on goal. That's the lowest shot total in a playoff win in franchise history. The Preds did not get many shots, but they certainly made the most of the ones they had.
It's going to be muddy. Game 1 was the same thing. It's a muddy game, and they do a good job in defending and in-your-face kind of hockey. And we're going to have shifts. We're going to have time in our own zone. It's not going to be perfect.
That's the level that we needed to raise from Game 1. And that's what we talked about. So probably spent a lot of time in our zone, but it doesn't have to be pretty at this time of the year.
The series moves back to Smashville, coming up with Game 3 on Friday night as the Preds will drop the puck. It starts at 6:30. Well, here's your chance to cheer for your Nashville Predators at Bridgestone Arena. Scan that QR code right there on the screen, and you can enter the contest for your chance to win 2 tickets to either the Preds Game 3 game against Vancouver or Game 4 that's going to be happening against Vancouver. Those games are on April 26th and April 28th. Keep in mind that random selection messages and data rates may apply. So for complete contest rules, go to our website, fox17.com. Always an exciting time for playoff hockey. Greg, did you realize the Preds have been in the playoffs 16 times in the last 20 years? So this has sort of become a Nashville tradition.
It has been, and I did not know that until we were mentioning it going into this playoff series. I've just been so accustomed to seeing them, but you don't put the numbers together.
It's pretty special.
It truly is. So we'll have forecasts for Friday and Sunday. So if fans have tickets or want to go somewhere to watch the game, they can just, have everything planned out when it comes to, are we doing the jersey with the sweater underneath? Are we doing a T-shirt? What are we doing as far as we're supporting the Preds? We'll have it all covered for you. Rain after sunset tonight into tomorrow. The 80s return tomorrow as well. And when I say return, I don't mean for a day. We have 5 days in a row that could hit 80 degrees starting tomorrow. Storms next week, though. Can never escape storms this time of the year for too long. We had them on Monday and Tuesday. As of right now, it's not going to be code red weather, but we'll keep our eyes on the forecast here once we get out of the weekend, really lock things down for you. We're cooler, though. Your screen right now tells it. 24-hour temperature change, 5 to 15 degrees cooler than the same exact time yesterday morning. Where does that put us? 52 right now in Nashville, 46 degrees in Dickson, 51 in Murfreesboro, and a pair of 45s in Columbia and Tullahoma. These numbers will go down before they go back up. We're crystal clear, so until the sun comes up here in about an hour and a half, not much work we're going to do. Getting on the bus here, heading to school. First bell, 52 degrees. After school, 75 degrees. So everything looking really nice. It is just a little bit cooler to kick off the day. And clouds will build into the forecast after around 3, 4 o'clock this afternoon. We'll still hit that high of 75. We'll go 83 degrees for your Friday, but there will be some rain in the forecast for your Friday. Not a lot of it, but the timing is going to be everything when it comes to your plans leading into the weekend. That's our focus coming up in a few minutes in the next look at your forecast.
All right, everyone, steer clear traffic. Let's get you out and about here to I-24 at Harding Place. This is coming down from the Antioch area. We're doing okay in that area as well. Traffic moving along at a great pace out there. Of course, as things continue to move along, we will give you more details with steer clear traffic as we got you covered live and local through 9. In your community this morning, MTSU announced a $54.3 million renovation project to refurbish Kersley, Old Main, and the Rutledge Hall. Now, these are two of the university's original 5 buildings. MTSU President Dr. Sidney McPhee says he is very excited for the upcoming construction project. It is scheduled to be held in mid-May, with the exception or with an expected completion by the summer of 2026. Always something going on out there in MTSU. Also getting some upgrades, the Nashville Fire Department is introducing a brand new squad response trucks. They are aimed at improving emergency response in some of the fastest growing areas of Metro Nashville and Davidson County. Now, officials say these state-of-the-art trucks will be strategically deployed to reduce response times, to showcase the capabilities of these particular squad trucks, and further provide some insight into their plan. They will be hosting an event coming up on May the 1st at 10 o'clock at the Nashville Fire Department at their training academy so they can show off what they've got. Well, it is National Parks Week, so it's a great time to get outdoors, and we've got something new to share with you this morning from the Williamson source. This weekend, the city of Brentwood will be opening up some brand new mountain bike trails. So if you have a mountain bike hanging in your garage, maybe now is a good time to pull it out. The trail will be opening up, coming up on Saturday. It's going to be taking place at Smith Park there in Brentwood. Well, looking ahead, National Small Business Week starts on Sunday. And in honor of that, in your community, the U.S. Small Business Administration is honoring 3 Middle Tennessee businesses for their commitment to excellence. They're also saying that they are very good entrepreneurs and in community engagement as well. Now, the winners include Jacqueline Hayes from Nashville, who is being labeled as the Woman-Owned Small Business of the Year. Naveen Shamir, Better Cannibal, is it? No, I'm sorry, but she owns a small business there in Murfreesboro, we understand. And they also have an Inventor of the Year, that is Dean Wigner. They're also from Nashville. They're receiving honors for their Veteran-Owned Small Business of the Year. The SBA's Small Business Week celebrates the passion and perseverance of small business owners who make up the heart of every community. Congratulations to all the winners. An interesting piece of art in Rhode Island is gaining a lot of fame. Coming up, we're going to take a look at this massive display for a pop legend. And the prices are too high and they're not enough.
Captain D's $5.99 meal deals. Incredible price, irresistible taste.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning. Live look there at Bridgestone Arena. That is where Tim McGraw will be putting on a big show coming up there tonight. And then, of course, coming up tomorrow night, we've got Nashville Predator hockey. So a lot going on there at Bridgestone Arena as usual. Plus, yes, we're having the big marathon event, the Rock and Roll Running Series, they're calling it. It's not just a marathon, it's more than that. So it's a running series. That's going to be happening Saturday as well down there on Broadway. Watch out for the road closures.
It's for everybody to see. I think it's a great piece, and it's a tribute to the owner of that property.
There is a very interesting piece of art in Rhode Island, and it's finding some fame thanks to some of the locals there. They are sharing this 8-foot tall guitar in a slab of granite. It has sat in the parking lot there for almost a decade. Now, the art was supposed to be integrated into the seawall around Taylor Swift's oceanfront home. But the company who was supposed to do that says that the tribute wasn't finished in time. So now it's just sitting in the parking lot. The company says it will remain there unless Taylor Swift decides that she wants it. Then she can move it wherever she would like to have it. That is interesting. I wonder if there's any long-term damage to it sitting there like that. All right, well, listen to this. A movie theater chain is now facing accusations of underfilling its drinks. Don't you hate that? A Texas man has filed a lawsuit against the Cinemark movie theaters, claiming that the chain's 24-ounce drink cup only holds 22 ounces. Now, the lawsuit says that the plaintiff measured the cup at home. The customer claims that that Cinemark is participating in false advertising that violates state and federal laws. We'll see where it goes from there. 2 ounces of soda, how much is that worth? That's the question. Let's get to Greg.
I have a feeling we'll find out pretty quick. Taking a look at your forecast. Planning your weekend, we're getting one day closer here. Today's going to be dry. Overnight tonight into tomorrow, a few showers do move in, I would say. From when you wake up through about noon in the Nashville area, the chance for rain. Cumberland Plateau all the way through 4 p.m. It's a mover from west to east. But the weekend itself, fewer clouds in the forecast now for Saturday and Sunday. Warm and breezy. Temperatures now will be in the low to middle 80s both days. What I'll tell you is wear sunscreen. A lot of outdoor events here, and this is that time of the year when even if it's not abrasively hot, the sun is already high enough and out there long enough where you can start getting a sunburn pretty quickly. As far as keeping track of the forecast, whether it's tomorrow's early morning rain into the afternoon or some storms I've put in the forecast for Monday or Tuesday. You can get the Fox 17 Code Red weather app. Right there, there's always that QR code you can scan any morning you want to have that Doppler radar with you when you're on the go, no matter where you're at. Not just locally, but anywhere across the country.
All right, steer clear traffic this morning at 4:59. Quick look here at I-65 at I-65 at Armory Drive. That's on the south side near 100 Oaks. No problems out there. No problems that could hold you up either. We'll continue to watch the roads here for you. Well, let's make sure you can win some extra money for Mom next week by playing our Mother's Day Mania. $100 of prepaid debit cards each and every day, starting on Monday. Fox 17 News, you may want to be watching us here on the morning show. This is just something for us here for our Mother's Day Mania QR code. If you get the question right, you can win the $100 daily prize and be entered for a chance to win $5,000 in our weekly drawing. Now, you can play the Mother's Day Mania right here. Again, starting Monday, you have to watch for the code to flash on the screen. And by the way, you don't have to be a mom to win. Speaking of moms, here's Jen and Erica standing by for our 5 o'clock hour.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Maybe it will be as awakening for people that hear it as it was for me, and then cause people to then take action. So in that way, then we can stop those statistics from rising.
Working to make a difference right here at home. We have local leaders and survivors of trafficking speaking out, fighting to put an end to it here in Tennessee.
And also ahead, turn down the noise. West Nashville homeowners fed up with nonstop construction. We're going to talk about what's being done to limit some of that noise out there. Thank you so much for joining us here on Fox 17 News this Thursday morning. I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. Glad to be here for you live through 9 a.m.
We're going to kick off this Thursday morning with the top 3 headlines that you need to know before heading out the door.
We begin with this. The Supreme Court will hear a case today on whether former President Trump has immunity from prosecution for actions that he took during his time as president. Mr. Trump and his lawyers argue that former presidents are entitled to absolute immunity. The lower courts have rejected that argument so far.
And the White House is now defending legislation signed by President Biden yesterday that could lead to a nationwide TikTok ban. It gives the app's Chinese parent company ByteDance 9 months to sell TikTok. Critics argue the measure, though, does not give enough for the acquisition of that size, meaning a ban would almost be certain.
The families of Boeing crash victims are calling on the feds right now to prosecute the company over 2 deadly crashes. They're demanding that Boeing be held accountable for the 346 people who died in the crashes that happened in 2018 and 2019.
Well, Boeing made a deal with federal prosecutors in 2021, which allowed the company to avoid criminal charges as long as it revamped its compliance program. The families of victims argue Boeing failed to adhere to that agreement.
Developing now here at home, folks living over in Sylvan Heights say they are frustrated because railroad construction is going on at all hours of the night, and it is legal because there is no ordinance in that neighborhood preventing the construction.
Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar is joining us live in West Nashville to share what folks are experiencing and also what's being done to hopefully stop this. Good morning, Karen.
Good morning, Jen and Erica. Imagine getting ready for bed and then all of a sudden loud construction noises don't let you sleep well. Well, that's what a lot of people here in the Sylvan Heights neighborhood are experiencing. And they say it's all because of construction that's being done to the railroad behind me down the road near Lookout and Centennial. Multiple people have complained that they've heard grinding metal, screeching, and constant beeping starting from around 9 at night until the early morning hours. Other people are even complaining about the fumes. Councilmember Brenda Gadd says she's looking into doing something about it.
Very appreciative of constituents who have emailed and called. They are experiencing noise, issues with loud noises throughout the night. And also what's come to my attention are also odors or fumes that are coming from the work site and probably a part of the work product. So as soon as I received some information there, I reached out. I've made a couple of phone calls and made some contact, one with CSX.
I reached out to CSX as well to find out how long this construction will go on for and if they have any plans to stop that construction from the overnight hours. Plus, Gadd says she will be in the neighborhood later today to talk to neighbors about their concerns. Reporting live in West Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
5:04 your time, taking a look at the forecast. Touch cooler this morning. It's because we're clear. Yesterday morning we had the cloud cover. We had the rain that was tracking through the area. Now we're talking about kind of a flip-flop. Not that we're going to have rain today, but our clouds, they're not there now. They will be by the time we get into this evening. Nothing really to worry about here, though. Rain will arrive overnight into your Friday. Highs today in the middle 70s. Nothing to catch us off guard. Just maybe an extra layer or two this morning. Not necessarily winter coats, but something to cover up the arms and the legs just to get you going to start the day. I'm watching what's off to the west. Some broken up showers here that are tracking through the plains right now. They are states away, but they will make their way here overnight tonight into tomorrow. And they're slowing down as they get closer to us, meaning more of your Friday could have rain than it looked like it would yesterday. 48 degrees right now. We are crystal clear, nothing to worry about. What does this mean for traffic getting out the door when it comes to the impact? No worries, just crystal clear, cooler. You want the sunglasses. This will be a sun glare morning, especially driving eastbound. Temps in the 40s and in the 50s.
Greg, thank you so much. We do want to do a quick check over near the airport and your Steer Clear traffic update. The airport is going to be very busy for the next couple of days. So this is I-40 at Donaldson Pike, right there for the exit that you take to get on over to the arrivals and departures. Right now, we're not seeing any kind of slowdowns, no crashes, no disabled vehicles. Everything is looking good.
I had to do what I was told, or they would take one of my children or kill all of us.
Over 350,000 children each year go missing.
There are frightening statistics happening now. Human trafficking survivors and NFL alumni right here in Tennessee are working with our city and our state leaders to try to put an end to human trafficking in our state.
Well, U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn says 25% of trafficking victims are children, and statewide up to 600 kids disappear every single month.
We know that taking a stand and fighting for justice as a trafficking survivor is something that is very brave to do, and we're hearing from people doing just that, helping others who have been going through the same type of scenario. Let's listen.
I didn't want another girl or another woman to have to go through what I went through, so I started Women at the Well Transition Center, and I work with women and girls who have either been incarcerated and trafficked to help them rebuild their lives, their dignity, and regain their families.
Well, now state leaders have also announced that they're going to be releasing new prevention tools that could potentially help save a life.
Yes, and we know that along with Senator Marsha Blackburn, Metro leaders and NFL legends are those who are coming to the table to talk about how to protect our children from trafficking and online exploitation. So if you'd like to read more about what they're doing and this story, you can head to our website right now, fox17.com.
Well, more Tennesseans are reacting as a bill that will allow teachers to carry a gun on campus sits on Governor Bill Lee's desk. We're going to talk about why some school districts are already opting out.
And
And I think we've forgotten to listen to these. And then not only teachers, but parents.
There's a lot of misrepresentation about this legislation.
Fox 17 News is now hearing from local school districts as the bill that would allow teachers to carry a gun on campus sits on the governor's desk. If he signs it, it does become law. But some school districts are already opting out. There are some who believe our state leaders are not listening to Tennesseans, especially those impacted, such as teachers and parents. Now, there are others who say they want another line of defense in their child's classroom. Bill West is a retired SRO and former president of the National Association of SROs. He says he doesn't think having teachers carry guns on campus is a good thing, mainly though because he's just concerned about the training and how a scenario would evolve that would have a teacher leaving students to go after a gunman. Let's just listen to what he had to say.
If a teacher is armed and they have a classroom, are they going to leave that classroom to go after a gunman? What if they fail to respond at all? The training is what concerns me. So far, I really haven't seen anything that they would be required to be on the gun range regularly. It sounds like it's just regular training.
And even though the governor hasn't even signed the bill yet, Metro Nashville Public Schools, Sumner County Schools, Rutherford County Schools have all come out with public statements saying they will not be implementing this.
In Tennessee politics this Thursday morning, we now have a follow-up weeks after heated debate. The Tennessee House killing a bill that would have banned local governments from paying to either study or dispense money for reparations for slavery. Well, the proposal was initially introduced a year ago. Interest in reparations emerged again this year, just as lawmakers and Governor Bill Lee were in the process of finalizing and removing and replacing every board member of the state's only publicly funded historically black public university. We're talking about TSU. Now, many other states have willingly moved to go ahead and study reparations, including California, New Jersey, and also Vermont.
And coming up in your Code Red forecast right now, we're taking a live look over Lower Broadway. Tim McGraw hitting Bridgestone Arena stage later on today. 48 degrees. However, there's some rain that takes us into the upcoming weekend. We'll play
Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, liberty, liberty.
Liberty.
If you've been injured in a car accident, call Pound Law from your cell phone. Morgan & Morgan.
Good morning and welcome back into Fox 17 News this morning. Happy Thursday, 5:14. Live look from downtown Franklin. Hey, if you are looking for something to do this weekend, the 40th annual Main Street Festival, sponsored by First Horizon, is set to take place in historic downtown Franklin. Now, Fox 17 News, also a sponsor. It's going to start at 10 o'clock in the morning. There will be all kinds of activities throughout the weekend.
Well, those are chants from pro-Palestinian protests that are really erupting at universities across the country. We're showing you some video from the University of Southern California. This was Wednesday afternoon. We're also going to show you video from folks over at the University of Texas in Austin. They had a large group of students who walked out as part of the pro-Palestinian demonstration. There were lots of horses, police officers. It really got testy out there. The unrest is leading some students, especially Jewish students, to fear for their safety as the Passover holiday is underway.
They haven't been able to step in, and we've been saying, can you walk us home? Could you please stop these people from harassing us?
Yeah, some universities like Columbia have had to go to hybrid online learning because of safety fears. The situation, though, is still unfolding as the Passover holiday, as I mentioned, is underway. It's a story we'll continue monitoring.
And back here at home in Tennessee, changing the way that you use social media. There's a proposal that has headed to the governor's desk that would require stricter age limits and parental consent on social media. Now, there are already certain restrictions that are in place on most social media sites, but they are easily worked around. Under this new bill, if companies don't comply with new requirements, they would open themselves up to a lawsuit on the part of the Tennessee Attorney General. To follow updates on the Protecting Children from Social Media Act, make sure you follow us on all of our social media accounts. We'll keep you updated 24/7.
We also want to go to Franklin because we want to let you know the city of Franklin just approved raises for the Franklin Police Department. It happened at a Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting this week. Starting officers in Franklin with no previous experience will start out at about $60,000 per year. Existing officers will receive a 3% pay increase as well. The police chief there, Deb Faulkner, releasing a statement saying, quote, encouraging anyone who wants a rewarding career in a city that values and supports its police officers to go ahead and apply. So if you do want some more information, we have all the details over on fox17.com.
It is 5:17. I told Erica this morning, Greg, when I walked in, my eyes were burning. And we take daily allergy medicine.
Oh,
that's correct.
Yes.
But something is in the air with like the congestion and the eyes burning. And,
Yeah.
more so than usual.
We're hoping that tomorrow's rain will help a little bit with all that because the last round that moved in really wasn't all that much, so we didn't get really any relief from it.
Settle everything.
Yeah, grass and tree pollen are really, really, really high right now. So if those two are kind of your triggers, that's going to continue to be there until we get this rain that does trickle in after midnight tonight. And that means that even this weekend, have two things packed for you. Have the sunscreen and then have the tissues and allergy meds ready to go because they will still be up even with that rain, just tapered down a touch. Look at that though. Main Street Festival in Franklin, I mentioned a few minutes ago, Saturday and Sunday, 40th anniversary of it. Warm days both days, low to middle 80s, breezy on Saturday. Dry for both days. Now, we're not worried about anything getting in our way, but what's our next weather maker? It is that rain that will move in later today and into tomorrow. And what I mean by later today is well after sunset. So we're not worried about any after-school sports. We're not worried about anything like that. It'll be mainly an overnight. And then tomorrow is what we have to track because there will be daylight rain that we have to contend with. Here's today, starting off sunshine and then ending with some cloud cover. Here's the overall overnight pattern. Midnight, a few showers already west of I-65, and then those will trickle in throughout these morning hours going into your Friday. Here's 6 a.m. 6 a.m. takes us through noon. Most of us are done in the Nashville area late morning tomorrow, and then the clouds will linger. A mainly cloudy end to your Friday, but if you have evening plans, or if you're going to watch the Preds somewhere, or maybe you got lucky and you scored some tickets to Bridgestone Arena, temperature is going to be right near 80 degrees at 6:30 for puck drop, and no additional rainfall after we get done with mid to late morning here in the Nashville area. Wash or wait? It's always a question here, especially this time of the week when we've had a couple of good days. Today, you can go for it. Tomorrow, you just saw we have that rain tracking through, but then Saturday into Sunday both look good as well. Let's talk temperature. 75 this afternoon right now on the right side of your screen. Current temperatures may catch you off guard. They're about 10 degrees cooler than the same time yesterday. 80s will continue for Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
Steer clear traffic. Let's take a quick look at what we're dealing with at I-24 Broadleaf Parkway. This is out there in the Antioch area. You can see there for yourself traffic moving along, despite the fact we do have one disabled vehicle over there on the shoulder. It's an 18-wheeler with the flashes on, but traffic around it moving along very nicely in both directions out there. So we're glad to see that. Glad to see we are accident-free elsewhere as well. We'll continue to watch the things on the road and let you know what we find.
Justin, thank you very much. It is 5:20 right now. Fox 17 News working to learn more after a fire destroys a home in Clarksville.
Yeah, take a look at the video right here on your screen. You can see some dramatic footage from Dash 10 Media, seeing that smoke, the crews out there, that roof destroyed. We do understand the fire left a shell of a home. This is over in North Clarksville. This happened last night. Clarksville police telling Fox 17 News that everyone inside, thank goodness, they got out safely, but the investigation into what started the fire, it's ongoing.
Grinding out a win. Looking ahead, we're going to break down why the Preds need more firepower as the playoff series with the Canucks comes home to Smashville.
And Fox 17 News showing you a live look on Lower Broadway, getting ready for the Rock and Roll St. Jude Marathon this week.
Answers are found in God's Word. Begin reading the Holy Bible today and visit a nearby Christian church this Sunday.
5:23 is the time. New this morning, Tennessee lawmakers took up the issue of immigration on Wednesday. There's a bill that says if a person who is here in the state of Tennessee illegally and they're caught with a gun, they can be punished by up to life in prison. Now, some members like John Ray Clemens, representative from Nashville, he believes that this is a harsh punishment. He also believes that race has something to do with it. It led to a, let's call it an awkward moment between these two lawmakers. Listen.
Let's point out these heinous crimes. I agree with you. Heinous. Should never be committed. The individual should be locked up. But you, instead of wanting to invest that money and lock up all the individuals, you don't want to treat, let's say, a white man who commits the exact same crime. You don't want to punish them as harshly? What's less heinous about the crime because a white man committed it versus an undocumented immigrant?
I have personally seen folks of every possible skin color that are coming across that border illegally. So for your reference to a white man indicates certainly to me that you have some racial bias, which I certainly do not understand.
Now that I've been accused of being a racist here on the House floor, I'm going to move for Rule 19, point of order against this individual who's in the well, speaking completely inappropriately.
That rule that John Ray Clemens is talking about refers to other lawmakers making disparaging remarks against some of the other members there of the House. By the way, they found and voted that that member was not out of order. By the way, the bill did pass ultimately, and we'll move on to the governor's desk.
5:24. Let's take a look ahead towards your upcoming weekend. We know today's going to look great. What does tomorrow look like? Preds' first playoff game of the year back home, and the puck going to drop at 6:30. Now, I will tell you, if you wake up tomorrow and even into early afternoon and you're seeing some rain, it might kind of dampen your spirits a little bit. Don't let it. By the time puck drops, we're back to a burst of sunshine here and there. 80 degrees, mostly sunny for right around that time period. The sun will take over when the rain moves out. Afternoon highs will be in the low 80s, so say you're getting downtown maybe a couple hours early, 4 o'clock, 5, 6, everything looking great. Little breeze out of the south. A good way to kind of kick off the playoff scene here in Nashville. Weekend outlook, 83 degrees on Saturday, 85 on Sunday. Both days rain-free. A little bit on the breezy side, and morning temperatures will be in the 60s. Both of those mornings as you're waking up. You can always follow along on social media, Facebook meteorologist Greg Bobus. That's where you go, especially to submit your dogs of the day, which we'll meet next half hour. And also, my X page on Twitter, Greg Bobus WX, good place to go for breaking weather updates, especially when severe weather moves into the area.
Steer clear traffic at 5:26. Here's a quick look at what we're dealing with outside, and that is going to be I-65 at the I-24 junction just north of downtown Nashville. You can see there the traffic moving along very nicely, making its way into town without delay. It's not going to look like this for long. Pretty soon, I'm going to show the same camera, and it's going to be a parking lot, a sea of red lights here getting into the city. But right now, we're doing just fine. Overall drive times look like this. You're good no matter where you're coming from. Hendersonville at 26 minutes, Murfreesboro 51 minutes, Franklin coming in at 27 minutes in from the south side. Well, coming up, a top software company, Oracle, will be making Nashville its headquarters, not just a base, but its world headquarters. We've got the message that Governor Lee is delivering out there for the leaders.
Overnight construction noises in Sylvan Heights are keeping some people awake during
17 News, your Code Red station. Alerts, empowers, protects.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Electronic Express. We make it happen. You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Now on Fox 17 News this Thursday morning, West Nashville neighbors fed up with nonstop construction. We're going to tell you why railroad permits are to blame.
And a bill looks to prevent people from becoming victims of crimes involving obscene content. We'll dive into what that means.
Our forecast here this morning, starting off dry. Sun will be up here in about an hour, but by the end of the day, clouds increase, and I'm tracking rain before the weekend.
Thank you so much for joining us here on a Thursday morning for Fox 17 News. I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. Let's get into our top headlines new this half hour. A few months ago, you might remember our reporting from the Gulch. Okay, we were there for weeks talking about neighbors who were fed up with construction at all hours of the night and early in the morning. Ultimately, their concerns led to change. And that would be the institution of an ordinance that restricts when construction crews can work.
Correct.
Okay. Now we've got a very similar situation that is playing out in Sylvan Heights, and the homeowners there say they're frustrated because it's railroad construction.
Yeah, that is allowed to go on. Right now, Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar joining us live in West Nashville to share what neighbors are going through. And Karen, what is being done to try and stop this?
Good morning. Here in the Sylvan Heights neighborhood, some people getting ready to go to work this morning might be tired because they say that construction noises are keeping them awake. People are complaining that starting at 9 at night until the early morning hours, they are hearing metal grinding and screeching. They say it's all coming from construction of this railroad behind me down the road. This is as close as we can get, but it's near Lookout and Centennial Drive from CSX. They also say there are smells coming from the construction. As you mentioned, there was a similar issue in the Gulch with construction noises that resulted in a bill to help with that. But Brenda Gadd, the neighborhood's councilwoman, says this is a public works infrastructure, so it might be a little more challenging to make it stop.
I've also sent inquiry to our codes department to understand if we're able to enforce any type of the noise ordinance, the Metro noise ordinance. At this time, I've been informed that the railroad work is considered the public works infrastructure, and there's an exemption under our Metro noise ordinance there. So we're looking at other ways that we can perhaps preserve the quality of life for neighbors that are living near us there.
Gadd says that she plans to come to this neighborhood later today to talk with people about what they're experiencing. She also tells me that she's spoken with multiple agencies to try to stop the construction from those hours that I previously mentioned. I also reached out to CSX to find out what they're doing about it and for comment, and I haven't heard back yet. Reporting live in West Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you. In consumer news, Governor Bill Lee now responding to the news that business software giant Oracle is establishing their world headquarters in Music City.
We first talked about this a couple days ago. The Oracle CEO, Larry Ellison, was at an event here in Nashville speaking to a group when he said, yeah, we're making this our global headquarters. And he said they chose Nashville because we're already a hub for the U.S. healthcare industry.
So now an expansive campus is planned for Oracle right on the Cumberland riverfront. In response to this announcement, though, we have this statement right here from Governor Bill Lee saying, quote, "Welcome home, Oracle. We're proud this trusted company has picked the Volunteer State as its new world headquarters. Great news for job creation, also economic growth, really across Tennessee." And I know folks are going to be looking for housing, and that was one thing I saw. Real estate agents talking about, well, okay, y'all need a place to live. We got you covered.
Yeah, and to that point, Erica, we may start to see a real sprawl north of Nashville.
That's correct.
As this starts to expand. So the ever-changing Music City.
I'll own a house when I'm 60.
Greg.
Taking a look at the weather story. Rain after sunset is the name of the game for us here. The return to the 80s, and not just for a day or two. A nice long stretch of 80 or warmer starting tomorrow, taking us into the weekend and out of the upcoming week. So this is really good here. Storms, though, next week. Got to watch Monday and Tuesday. Those are 2 days where we could potentially see our next chance for thunderstorms. As of right now, they don't look to be anything severe or even strong, but I'll keep monitoring for us here as we get toward the weekend and out of it. Watching this right now. That's our next weather maker. A few scattered rain showers are out toward the plain states. They're making their way closer to the Mississippi and eventually will arrive here mainly after midnight. 48 degrees right now. Right side of your screen, we are cooler. 40s and 50s for everyone this morning. 75 though. Nothing slowing us down to getting back into the 70s this afternoon. 80s will take us into and out of the weekend. We do have rain though that arrives tonight into a good portion of your Friday. We're going to look at that on Future Track in the next look at your forecast.
All right. right, everyone, steer clear traffic. Let's take a good look here at I-24 at Bradley Parkway. As you make that drive in from the Antioch area, we're doing fine out there. Coming in from places like not just Antioch, but Smyrna, Laverne, anywhere out there on the Rutherford County line. This is part of your drive. You're looking really nice so far, so good. Let's take a look here. This is going to be I-40 at 46th Avenue in West Nashville. No problems out there in the Nations. Good morning to all of you as you make that drive in from Bellevue and from Kingston Springs and Fairview. We'll continue to watch things out there on the roads.
We have an update now on the efforts to make it easier for victims of sexting and other crimes to go ahead and sue the folks responsible for some damages.
So think if someone might be harassing you through a phone with images or messages that would be explicit or threatening. This is what we're talking about here. The House and the Senate both passed bills that would allow victims and their families to sue anybody who produced or shared obscene materials. Both bills would allow the victims to recover financial damages along with attorney fees and court costs. Lawmakers seem to be split, though, whether this act is enough to trigger a lawsuit or whether a person would have to be convicted first.
One of the points of bringing this bill to begin with was to put the power back into the citizenry, to give them the ability to be able to protect themselves when they do find themselves in that situation where a district attorney is not so inclined to pursue these types of cases.
We do understand a conference committee adjourned yesterday without any kind of compromise. If members cannot get together, this bill would then be dead for this particular session.
Still to come here on Fox 17 News this morning, Arizona lawmakers moving toward a repeal of that state's abortion ban. We'll tell you how that could have an impact on other states.
And we're also getting some updates from Franklin.
Download the free Fox 17 Code Red weather app. This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Eurostone.
Good morning and welcome into Fox 17 News this morning. 5:39 right now. It's draft day. NFL draft is today. We've got Detroit with the stage set. Looks big. A lot of people filing around already there this morning. It still doesn't compare to Nashville. Sorry.
No,
I mean, Nashville was just something to behold. It really was next level. All right, so we'll be watching all the developments as they unfold, especially as it pertains to the Titans and what they plan to do later today.
Well, this morning we're also getting some updates from Arizona, which is taking another step closer to repealing a near total ban on abortions. 3 Republicans in the State House joined all 29 Democrats, this was yesterday, and voting to repeal an 1864 law, which only allows abortions in the case of saving someone's life. By the way, this particular bill is now heading to the Senate.
Local headlines, Franklin city leaders voting to increase police officer pay with the hopes of finding and keeping more officers. We mentioned this a little bit earlier in the newscast, but wanted to try to dive in a little deeper now, starting with officers in Franklin who have no experience. All right, if you want to come onto the force and you have no previous experience, you're going to make $60,000 a year as a police officer in the city of Franklin. If you already are a police officer, you would receive a 3% pay increase. And obviously, if you're coming to Franklin from somewhere else with previous experience, you know, that would be different as well. But they said that's the kind of environment there in Franklin where police officers are respected and honored. And so they are looking for a few brave men and women to join the team.
Here at 5:41, we'll take a look at your forecast. And so we're going to wait through our Thursday into Friday. Metro Center camera, we're starting to see our first rays of sunshine this morning. We'll get tons of it for the first half of today, and then clouds begin to take over gradually, especially late afternoon into the upcoming evening. And you'll see right here on Future Track, this says pointing us toward 4 p.m. and a few clouds that do start to pick up. Here we go toward midnight. West of I-65, a few showers start to move in, and that rain takes over through 6 a.m. tomorrow. We're going to wake up tomorrow morning. I'll be tracking the rain that's on the radar. It won't be for all of us at the same time. You see, these pockets could even give us a few decent downpours, though, and this will linger with us and meander through noon out toward the Cumberland Plateau. Clears all of us by 4 p.m., so Friday evening and Friday night plans, we have no problems whatsoever to deal with. And even your Saturday and Sunday both looking good. Highs today will be in the mid-70s. Right side of your screen, current temps a little cooler than yesterday. We're in the 40s to kick off today.
Clear traffic takes us to West Nashville. This is going to be I-40 at White Bridge Road. You can see there for yourself, traffic is moving despite the fact that we have got a rolling amount of trucks there sleeping on the shoulder of the road here. They're not rolling now, but they will be later on in the morning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Quite a bit out there sleeping on the shoulder of the road there in West Nashville. So watch out for them. But other than that, no major tie-ups in either direction out there. You're doing just fine as we get started here on this Thursday.
As dozens of students are arrested at pro-Palestinian demonstrations across the country, one news photographer gets swept up in all of it. That first-hand video of his experience.
And a tiny robot could improve the chances of catching.
You can trust them. I knew when you'd say something to me, I didn't have to wonder if you were telling me the truth.
Well, making headlines this Thursday, pro-Palestinian protests really continuing to keep up the momentum at different universities.
Yeah, I mean, they are flaring up at university and college campuses around the country. Demonstrators are being arrested in some cases. Some of these rallies have intensified to the point where just yesterday at the University of Texas, Austin, police arrested about 20 plus people, including a local Fox photographer.
Yeah, that photographer was covering the story, and look at this video. When they were covering the story, police began to move the line of protesters back. And then you have this situation. The photographer got caught up in the crowd of people and then fell, breaking the police line. A cop is then heard ordering the photographer to stay down. Later, they're also seen walking away from the protests with their hands behind their back.
Protesters could be heard arguing in defense, yelling, "That's press." In other words, not to arrest a member of the press. But, this is such a volatile situation. We've got people who are paying tuition, room, and board to go to school at these universities.
That are now going to hybrid.
That are having to go hybrid because they don't feel safe on campus. Their lives have been threatened, as we've seen in places like at Columbia University, at Yale. So definitely volatile. We'll monitor the situation for you as we get to our 6, 7, 8 o'clock hours.
Absolutely. Hey, it's no secret taking quick action to combat cancer does save lives. And when it comes to lung cancer, a small robot, could make a large difference.
Yeah, so this robot could speed up the diagnosis of the disease, which could lead to faster, more effective treatment. Fox News' Ted Lindner taking a closer look.
A new robot could help combat the deadliest cancer in the country. The National Cancer Institute estimates about 125,000 people in the U.S. will die from lung cancer this year. With doctors citing how early detection is key to saving lives, California medical experts are unveiling a new robot they say can help provide faster and safer diagnoses.
One of the main things that people can get when they get a CT scan of their lungs that shows up is a spot in their lungs called a nodule.
The presence of nodules can send patients in a panic, with many worrying they could be a sign of cancer. But some nodules are too small or hard to reach for doctors to analyze.
This tool allows us to go after almost any nodule in the lung to try to provide patients with diagnostic certainty. When we can give patients diagnoses, we can alleviate some of their anxiety and/or we can make treatment decisions.
The robot goes down the patient's throat to reach the lungs in a less invasive operation. The small device then travels through the maze of branches in the lungs, letting doctors see what's inside with help from a virtual map of the organs created from a CT scan.
And so this allows us to, one, get to the nodules that radiology could not otherwise get to. Two, biopsy nodules from the inside, which has a much lower risk of lung collapse.
Doctors have already used the bot on 3 patients and hope the tool provides results and peace of mind for many more in the future. Ted Lindner, Fox News.
Ted, thank you. Hey, the time is almost here. The St. Jude Rock and Roll Running Series is back in Nashville this weekend. It's all for a great cause.
Yeah, the money raised goes towards St. Jude Children's Hospitals. Our Fox 17 News photojournalist Kevin Mumphrey live this morning at Music City Center. This is going to be a spot where the runners gather. We see all kinds of like expos.
Oh, yeah.
Shoe fittings.
Right. It starts today at noon.
That's the fun part.
Oh, I know. I love it. I can't wait to get in there. We're going to check this area out. But just keep in mind, a lot of folks are going to be in town this weekend. And years past, they've had about 24,000 runners.
Incredible.
Getting involved.
The weather looks like it's going to hold out. The cool thing about the Rock and Roll Marathon, and it's unique to Nashville, is along the race route, they have 25 bands performing music to entertain both the runners but also the people who were on the sidelines cheering on their family and friends. So heads up traffic wise.
Yeah.
Right. If you're going to be in downtown Nashville Saturday. And
the road closures, I already see some of the barricades set up.
Yeah, I could have to take a detour. But yeah, again, we've been talking so much about the weather this week and how it's going to hold off for the big race.
And I just hope that folks who are in town, who are new to Nashville, they wake up with Fox 17 News and they watch your forecast, because it never fails. We have folks who are wearing long sleeves and maybe they didn't check out the weather reports.
Yeah, because you're training, in the Midwest or, Northeast, where it's not quite as warm as it is right now.
Right.
So you come down, you're thinking, okay, what I'm used to wearing, and then it's 85 degrees at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and you're starting off in the 70s in the morning. It could catch you off guard very well, to Erica's point. Taking a look here, we have the sun starting to come up. So, the official sunrise not until after 6 o'clock, but it's going to be a beautiful one here. So as it does rise for you, we'll keep showing you all the beautiful cameras here of our wonderful city. Taking a look here, this is also great. Nothing on radar. No rain. Yesterday morning, we had to work through some showers. This time around, nothing. We're good. Don't worry about any rain gear today. 48 degrees in Nashville. Told you about an hour ago that all of our temperatures would fall back into the 40s until the sun comes up, and has been up for at least an hour. Your coldest hour of any given day, 90% of the time, is going to be that hour right around sunrise. Taking a look, 50 in Murfreesboro, 43 in Columbia. Let's get you moving here. Yeah, there you go. Getting the bus to school, 52 degrees for first bell, 75 after school. Any after school events or sports, perfect. Temperatures will be just like yesterday. What to wear? I would layer up today, something a little bit heavier for the morning hours, but then we're back to shorts and t-shirt weather for the afternoon across the board. The sun will take over for now, and then we'll have some cloud cover creep back in a little bit later in the day. Always monitoring the airport, especially getting closer to the upcoming weekend. 55 degrees at 9, 69 degrees at noon, and 74 degrees at 3 p.m. That's out of BNA. No weather concerns here back home. Only 12 flight delays on the board so far this morning.
Clear, clear traffic takes us to I-40 at Spence Lane, just east of downtown. You can see for yourself how traffic is moving there in that area. We're doing fine. Traffic wide open, feeling good, looking good so far here on this Thursday morning. Certainly a good sign. All of this will start to get crowded, though, as the morning goes on. But so far, nothing to really slow you down. Same can be said for 24 at Harding, coming in from Antioch. Looking good there, coming in from the south and east side.
Justin, thank you. Talking about driving, small changes to get ready for one of the biggest races. What Indianapolis is doing to spotlight the drivers.
And one of Governor Bill Lee's signature initiatives.
Action from AFS. For a limited time, get $500 off any repairs when you call or go online today.
Welcome back. 5:55 is the time, and right now Fox 17 News showing you a live look at the Nashville skyline. The sun is just starting to peek up. It's going to be a beautiful day, but we are tracking some showers that are on the forecast. So we're going to have the full lineup, help you plan ahead, and especially if you're in town visiting for maybe the marathon or Tim McGraw or the Predators or everything else we have going on. Good morning.
So many options. Hey, this you could say is a sign that the Indy 500 is on the way. Street signs, to be exact, with new names being installed in downtown Indianapolis right now. You can see the 108th running is what one street sign says there. They do this temporarily. They bear the names of a lot of the drivers in this year's race. Kind of a fun nod. This will be, as I mentioned, as you can see on that street sign, the 108th running of the Indy 500.
Have you ever been to Indianapolis?
I've been to Indianapolis. I've not been to the Indy 500. I'm curious to see, I wonder if Newgarden, I need to see if our local guy, Joseph Newgarden from Hendersonville, is going to be racing this year.
Well, there you go. Hey, let's talk about the weather, though, because as I mentioned, we got a lot going on, including the Main Street Festival Saturday.
Oh, yes. I mean, this is a jam-packed calendar here, and if this is your first year kind of going through spring and into summer in Nashville, this happens almost every weekend throughout the year where we have event after event, and they kind of all cater to all different tastes of what just makes you happy getting outdoors. So here we go. The broad strokes for the weekend. Generally speaking, low to mid 80s both days. Depending upon where you're at, it could be a degree or two warmer or colder, but still, we're going to be right in that ballpark. Morning temperatures will be in the 60s, warm and also a little bit sunny here for us. Here, I've decreased the cloud cover a touch for Saturday and Sunday. Wear sunscreen. Whether or not you've been here for a while or you are new to town, this is the time of the year where we'll start getting sunburns and not realize it, and then you walk back inside the house after being outside all day, and you go, oh boy. Don't get that late April, early May sunburn. Use the sunscreen. Taking a look here. Also use the Fox 17 Code Red weather app. There will be some showers that do move in tomorrow, and they're going to linger for a good chunk of your Friday depending upon where you live. So we'll take a new look at future track and the 7-day forecast and try to see how many 80-degree days we could put in a row. That's as we go into our 6 o'clock half hour in just a couple of minutes.
Steer clear traffic takes us to the north side of town. This is going to be I-65 Trinity Lane. We're dealing with our first crash of the morning up in that direction. And as you can see, it has not slowed things down greatly, but it will. Eventually, once authorities get there, it is going to slow things down, making your way in from the north side. So you may want to consider Ellington Parkway already as a good way to steer clear, because the traffic right here in this corridor, 65 at Trinity Lane, is going to increase by the second. There's going to be more traffic getting out there here over the next little bit. We'll continue to follow things for you.
In politics now, the school voucher bill may not be the only issue that Governor Bill Lee is facing this legislative session. The franchise tax rebate that he's also pushing is facing some obstacles.
House and state leaders got together in a conference committee to try to iron out the differences in their bills. The Senate version calls for 3 years worth of rebates for businesses, totaling $1.5 billion.
I realize that there are arguments in the other chamber that that this law would withstand legal challenge. Obviously, our Attorney General and his team disagree with that argument.
Right now, I would say, based upon where we are, that for me personally, I would say that we're at an impasse as it relates to being able to find a solution.
And listen, today is April 25th. This is supposed to be the day that the legislature wraps up. We'll see how that progresses throughout the course of the day. Governor Lee is recommending the state get rid of the property portion of the franchise tax because it's been ruled unconstitutional in other states.
Well, you could win some extra money for mom by playing our Mother's Day Mania contest. Now listen, it has not started yet, but we're giving you a heads up.
Yeah, so you know, listen, starting Monday every day, we're going to be giving away a $100 prepaid debit card. Again, starting this coming Monday right here on Fox 17 News This Morning. And listen, folks, it's only on our morning show.
That's right.
You're not going to be able to get this anywhere else. What you'll have to do is when we give you the cue starting Monday morning, you'll answer that day's trivia question. You get the answer correct and you could win that $100 daily prize. Plus, you're entered for the chance to win a $5,000 weekly drawing. So again, that's Mother's Day Mania starting right here Monday on Fox 17 News This Morning. You don't have to be a mom to win. Good luck.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Now on Fox 17 News this Thursday morning, as a bill that will let teachers carry guns sits on the Governor Bill Lee's desk, some school districts already say they do not want to use the option. So we're going to explain that story.
And Tennessee locals and lawmakers taking steps to prevent human trafficking and keep our children safe. The initiative that's on the way.
People in the Sylvan Heights neighborhood are frustrated with overnight railroad construction noises. Coming up, I'll tell you what the local councilwoman is doing about it.
Thank you so much for starting your Thursday with us here on Fox 17 News This Morning. I'm Jennifer Waddell.
And I'm Erica Glover. We're going to get started this Thursday morning letting you know about folks who are reacting as a bill to allow teachers to carry a gun on campus sits on Governor Bill Lee's desk.
Right. If he does sign this and it becomes law, we are going to start to see how districts respond. We already have a few just in the last 24 hours who have said they are opting out.
Well, Bill West is a retired school resource officer and former president of the National Association of SROs, that's school resource officers. He's now the safety director over at Cannon County Schools. He's also concerned, he says, that a teacher would leave 20 to 30 students behind to go after a gunman. But Senator Paul Bailey says the point of the bill is to help rural counties that do not have enough school resource officers on hand.
There's over 500 schools, public schools in the state of Tennessee that still do not have a school resource officer. This is just another tool that will allow some of those rural school districts to be able to qualify someone.
You know, the training is what concerns me. So far, I really haven't seen anything that they would be required to be on the gun range regularly. It sounds like it's just regular training.
Now, Senator Bailey, who we heard from first there, does say that there are some guardrails in place, including 40 hours worth of training, a psychological evaluation, a background check, fingerprinting, and whatnot. So as for the districts we mentioned a moment ago that are already opting out, Metro Nashville Public Schools, Sumner County Schools, and Rutherford County Schools, they have all come out in the last 24 hours and said they will not be implementing this new law.
Yeah, and listen, we always want to know what you think. We asked over on our social media platforms on our X account, would you be okay with your child's teacher being armed? As of right now, 69.9% of you all say yes. Hey, there is still time for you to go ahead and let us know what you think. Head on over to our Fox Nashville X account or our Fox Nashville Facebook page.
Happening right now, neighbors in Sylvan Heights, this is in a portion of Nashville, say they're real frustrated because railroad construction is going on all hours of the night. And it's legal because right now there is no ordinance in that neighborhood that would prevent the construction, and that's according to that district's councilwoman.
Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar is joining us over in West Nashville, telling us what homeowners are going through and then also what's being done to stop this, because they're trying to sleep, Karen, and they can't.
That's right, they can't. Some people here in the Sylvan Heights neighborhood are having difficulty falling asleep. They say that they've been hearing noises starting from about 9 o'clock at night until the early morning hours, and it's all coming from construction right here behind me on this railroad. It's actually going down the road near Lookout and Centennial Drive. This is as close as we can get because we're just not allowed over there to show you the ongoing construction. And I just spoke with someone who says that within the last week, these tracks right here behind me were being fixed. To give you some perspective, take a look at how close this home is, and this block is lined up with homes. So these families must have been tired when they were getting up to go to work, and this is just something that they want to prevent for the rest of the community. And not only are they hearing metal grinding and screeching, they say that there's also a smell that is coming from the construction. Now, the councilwoman Brenda Gadd says that she's trying to do something about it, and you might remember that we covered something similar about overnight construction noises over in the Gulch that resulted in a bill. But again, there is just work that's being done, and Brenda Gadd explains a little bit more about what she's doing to try to get some relief to the residents right here in this neighborhood.
Very appreciative of constituents who have emailed and called. They are experiencing noise, issues with loud noises throughout the night. And then also what's come to my attention are also odors or fumes that are coming from the work site and probably a part of the work product. So as soon as I received some information there, I reached out. I've made a couple of phone calls and made some contact, one with CSX.
CSX is the company that is responsible for the railroad construction. I reached out to CSX to figure out how long their construction will be ongoing and if they have any plans to change the hours on which they will be doing the construction, and we haven't heard back yet. Reporting live in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
6:05 here, and we're taking a look at the 3 things to know getting us from today into tomorrow, which will stair-step us into a fantastic weekend. Clouds will gradually increase. We're getting right near sunrise, and you're going to see plenty of that for at least the first half, 2/3 of the day. And then the clouds will pick up, and rain follows that overnight tonight into tomorrow. Unfortunately, this weather system has moved a little bit slower than it was supposed to. It's kind of really been progressing at a very small stage. So that means it's going to be lingering a little longer into our Friday. So I've changed the timing of rain when it gets in and when it moves out. And we'll make sure we look at that on Future Track. Highs, though, today in the 70s and no rain during our daylight hours. There's our beautiful city. And if you are visiting for the St. Jude Rock and Roll Marathon on Saturday, you have plenty of things to do around town this weekend. I mean, there's a whole list of stuff from a Tim McGraw concert tonight to festivals just south of Nashville in the Franklin area down 65. Just Google it and you'll find something fun to do. Temperatures are about 10 degrees cooler than yesterday morning. We're in the 40s right now, on our way to 75 later on this afternoon. And you can see we're still a little dark over Broadway, but that's okay. 47 degrees your current temperature. We're gonna raise that about 25 to 30 degrees. And look at your weekend. We're talking 80s Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Lowering rain chances after tomorrow. We'll look at that on Future Track momentarily.
Steer clear traffic for you this morning gets us up north to I-65 at Trinity Lane. This is on the north side of town. Traffic there moving along despite the fact we do have a crash there on the shoulder. Still waiting for emergency crews to get there. TDOT, Metro Police, somebody coming on by to take a look at this. So far we have not seen anyone yet, but we continue to wait for that. Not causing big backups, at least not yet. You can consider Ellington Parkway as a good way to steer clear in that area. Here's a look at your latest drive times. Hendersonville, 29 minutes. Murfreesboro, still under an hour. That's good news. 59 minutes in from Clarksville right now.
In Operation Crime and Justice, human trafficking survivors and NFL alumni are now working with city and state leaders trying to combat exploitation.
Yeah, child trafficking specifically. In a news conference that they all had just yesterday, we had people like U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee, who said 25% of trafficking victims are children. And across our state, up to 600 children disappear every month. If you stopped for a moment and thought about all of the missing children that you know about in your community, wow. State leaders have announced 85,000 kits that will be passed out to Tennessee families this fall. These kits will help parents collect their child's DNA sample and fingerprints to have at their disposal in the event that their child does go missing. It would help law enforcement in their investigations.
Well, Tennessee lawmakers end up shouting.
Plus, get a lifetime warranty. MatthewsNissan.com.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Zander Insurance.
6:10 is the time. Tennessee lawmakers voted on a bill that would allow those with extreme risk protection orders against them be able to keep their guns if they have them. Now, the state law would stop local county judges from taking guns from those kinds of people with those kinds of orders against them. Some would call this a red flag law. Now, we're going to hear from both sides, starting with Representative Justin Pearson of Memphis. But listen closely, as he can be heard shouting at the other lawmaker as he's trying to respond to him. Watch.
Shame on this body for failing to act, and shame on this body for trying to take away the power of local governments to act. It's shame on this body for the deaths of people unnecessarily in our state, and we need to do better.
And just because you or the people in your district or in your city or in your county don't think that the Second Amendment is as important to them as it is to me or the people in my district, doesn't mean that they have the right to downgrade my rights or the people from my district. So I'm representing my district.
Representative, you are out of order. You're out of order and you know it. I ask you to please stop. Representative Barrett, you're recognized. Representative, once again.
By the way, this bill did pass. It's already passed the Senate, and the governor will see it next.
Waking up here in your Cookeville forecast to some sunshine just coming up. Take a look at that over Nissan Stadium. We have draft night tonight, round 1. And yeah, we got a lot of other things happening around town for the weekend. We'll take a look at that forecast in a few minutes.
Steer clear traffic takes us to 65 north of town near Trinity Lane. We're going to tell you the best way to steer clear of this particular wreck. And children could be required to get parental permission.
Get your free online valuation now at
WeBuyAnyCar.com. This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Sarah Chevrolet Buick GMC of Nashville.
Welcome back. 6:14 is the time. The families of Boeing crash victims are now calling on the feds to prosecute the company over 2 fatal incidents.
You know, this comes at a time when we're hearing about whistleblowers who say they've been retaliated against for bringing to light the concerns with safety. So we know with regards to this story that folks have been meeting with the Justice Department demanding that Boeing be held accountable for the 346 people who died in 2018 and 2019 crashes. Now, Boeing made a deal with federal prosecutors in 2021, which allowed the company to avoid criminal charges as long as they revamped their compliance program within 3 years. So here we are in 2024, and the families of the victims argue that Boeing has not followed that agreement, referencing the incident just in January when that door plug blew out midair on an Alaska Airlines flight.
It is inconceivable to me that 4 months since the Alaska Air door blowout, there's even a question of whether things have changed at this company. I would think the answer would be obvious. I hope the Justice Department reaches that same obvious conclusion.
Well, the Justice Department is now weighing that incident as part of a broader probe into whether Boeing violated the deal. There are leaders who say a decision could come as early as late May.
A bill requiring social media companies to verify the age of account holders and force minors to get parental permission is now headed to Governor Lee's desk.
A lot of parents keeping their eye on this bill, which puts social media companies on notice and applies to both current and then future account holders. In addition to parental consent, the platforms had to provide parents with a way to supervise their students' accounts. If companies don't comply, they open themselves up to a lawsuit by Tennessee's Attorney General.
And here in the heart of Tennessee, Music City, USA, we have a big race coming this weekend. The St. Jude Rock and Roll Running Series is coming back to Nashville for another year. This is, I guess you could say, a hallmark race for a lot of runners just because of the uniqueness of the course, the music, and of course, just being in Nashville.
It's a lot of hills. I can add that one to that too. We're going to show you a live look right here. This is the Music City Center. Pack up does begin, packet pickup. I can get it right. It's starting at the Music City Center today at noon. By the way, the marathon route begins at 8th and Broadway and finishes up right outside of Nissan Stadium. And Jen, to your point, 25 bands are going to be out there giving all the tunes, getting those runners excited.
I love it. Really exciting. And by the way, traffic heads up. Okay,
yes.
Because there are roads that are blocked off all around the race course around downtown Nashville. So take it slow. Watch out for those runners. You know, be on your best behavior and
can you imagine?
Welcome to Nashville.
There are some folks who might not know this is happening and they wake up on Saturday and they're like, okay, what?
Yeah.
So just keep it in mind.
All right, let's toss it to Greg right now. We got so much going on. Tim McGraw tonight. We've got Preds Friday and Sunday. We've got the race in between. We've got the Franklin Main Street Festival.
We have a running list here.
Woohoo!
And what's great about the list is that it kind of doesn't matter. I love it though because it doesn't matter what you're into. If you love to run, you've got an event. If you like music, you have an event. If you like food and just being outdoors, we got a little everything here. Let's focus though on the one we just talked about here. As far as packet pickup today, I wonder if there's a guy named Peter Piper who's running the race. Peter Piper picked up packet pickup. Here we go. Take a look. St. Jude Rock and Roll Marathon. This is going to be on Saturday morning. The forecast has gotten extremely better throughout the week. And now here's where we sit, and this is pretty much locked in. 68 degrees at 7 a.m., 74 degrees at 10 o'clock. Mild morning. South wind at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Rain chance nearly zero, so it's good for the runners, also for the spectators. But just know that by noon or 1 o'clock, if you're running the full marathon and you're maybe still running here at this point, we're going to have temperatures climbing well into the 70s. Look at that. Hello, sunshine. Good looking morning for us here. That's the Titans practice dome there you can see here from, or practice bubble here you can see from our Metro Center camera. Nothing happening today on Future Track. Very good looking day. Tomorrow we'll have a few showers here from 6 a.m. till about noon. Just showers in the Nashville area. That means that puck drop at 6:30 for the Preds at Bridgestone Arena tomorrow. We'll be right around 80 degrees and mostly sunny. If you've got weekend plans, get excited. We're almost there, and the whole weekend in the 80s all 3 afternoons.
All right, everyone, let's get to your steer clear traffic. We're going to get started north of town. This is going to be I-65 at Trinity Lane there on that north side. Still dealing with that crash on the shoulder of the road. Best way to steer clear is by using Ellington Parkway or Dickson Pike. That way you can try to get past some of the congestion being caused there by that crash. And once authorities get there, it's going to slow down even more. So heads up as you make that drive in from the north side. Other than that, we're doing okay. This is going to be 24 at Old Hickory Boulevard coming through the Antioch area. Doing fine. We've gotten reports of a crash a few miles back from here at 24 Sam Ridley in Smyrna. Haven't seen anything on the cameras yet, but we'll continue to watch it for you.
There is an FCC vote that's happening today that could impact your internet speed. It's to reinstate net neutrality.
This basically keeps providers from slowing down or blocking access to certain content or apps. And it also prevents them from speeding up certain internet traffic for payment. Here is Fox 17 News' Amy Kiley with the story.
Net neutrality is making a comeback with an FCC vote today. That means internet providers won't be able to speed up or slow down certain traffic. New FCC rules ban blocking, throttling, or disadvantaging certain content, apps, or services. They also bar prioritizing them in return for payment. An FCC vote under the Obama administration is what first put net neutrality in play.
You would get AOL and CompuServe and services like that saying, well, we provide email services and you can make websites and there's shopping. So we're more than simple utilities. And what's happened over time is that consumers don't want to get that stuff from their broadband provider.
It's been gone since 2018 due to a later FCC decision under the Trump administration.
The internet of 2014 was not some sort of hopeless hellscape. It was actually pretty awesome.
This time around, the FCC is taking into account modern use of smartphones and other devices. But the basic debate is the same. Advocates for net neutrality say they want a free and open internet. Opponents argue that's bad for businesses and consumers.
Innovation has flourished. Competition has increased. The internet remains a vehicle for free and open discourse.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Well, the FCC says it's going to take a couple of months to put the rules in place. Opponents, though, are already gearing up for some legal challenges.
6:22, the Nashville Cats revived. When and where arena football will be back in Music City.
And thank you so much for waking up with us every single morning on Fox 17 News. We're your only local station with traffic and weather updates live from 4 all the way up until 9.
Plus, get a lifetime warranty. MatthewsNissan.com.
Fox 17 News, Code Red Weather.
Your first line of defense when severe weather threatens.
Fox 17 News following breaking news this Thursday morning as college students across the country are continuing to protest the Israel-Hamas war, clashing with police in certain cities. In fact, take a look at this new video. Pro-Palestinian protests erupting at the University of Texas in Austin. This was last night, and hundreds of students, they walked out of class, they say in solidarity with the people of Palestine. Now, about 20 people were arrested. I do believe we have some more updated numbers, though, including a photographer for the local Fox station there. Meanwhile, House Speaker Mike Johnson visited Columbia University yesterday to meet with Jewish students. He called for the school's president to step down to, quote, bring order to the chaos.
6:25 is the time. All right, good news for everyone if you're into this kind of a thing. The Nashville Cats are back. This is after a 16-year hiatus. It's hard to believe it's been that long. But the Nashville Cats will kick off the arena football season coming up this Saturday. The team first played in Nashville from 1998 until 2001. And then played again from 2005 to 2007. However, the AFL, the Arena Football League, filed for bankruptcy in 2019 after 3 decades, but it announced its return last summer. This time, former Titans head coach Jeff Fisher is involved.
This game's different. It's about, it's a lot different, but it's entertainment. It clearly is entertainment. So we hope anybody that comes in there, when they leave with that smile, that brings them back the next time.
All right, this Saturday's game is one of 5 home matchups for the Cats. They'll play at Municipal Auditorium. Kickoff set for 7:30 p.m. against the Minnesota Myth. Okay. Well, you heard Jeff Fisher say it. It's entertainment, folks.
It is.
Well, what's the NFL?
Well, the NFL is a different kind of entertainment here.
All right, let's get a check of your forecast. We're going to switch sports here from football to golf. Greg's got our golf forecast for us for Middle Tennessee and Southern Kentucky.
Nice shot.
Watch out, everybody.
Nice shot.
Oh, on the green.
Get in the hole.
Oh, just short. That's all right. We're on the green, hey? Tee times for today, if you're going to play golf, 55 degrees around 9 o'clock. Warming up, look at that, warming up to 69 by lunchtime. Great day to have some lunch out there on the course or wherever you are. And 74 by 3 o'clock this afternoon.
That shot always gets so close to the hole-in-one.
So close.
Every time. Settle for birdie. All right, let's take a look here at your steer clear traffic. I-65 at Trinity Lane. There on the north side of town. Still waiting for a response to that crash on the shoulder. Slowing things down a little bit. You can take Ellington Parkway to steer clear of that. Well, I was looking at a parking lot here at 24 at Sam Ridley a short time ago. Looks like whatever was in the way has cleared out of the way. So you're doing a lot better coming in from Rutherford County this morning. We'll continue to watch things out there on the road.
A man who is charged with poisoning his girlfriend, killing her and her baby, now has a bond set. This is a high-profile case right here in Nashville. We'll tell you how much he would have to pay and his next day in court.
Plus, a Sylvan Park neighborhood dealing with very loud construction that went through the
best coverage of the biggest stories across Middle Tennessee. From breaking news to code red weather alerts, we cover it all on Fox 17 News at 5:30.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
Now on Fox 17 News this Thursday morning, a bill that would have banned the study of reparations for slavery not moving forward in the legislature. The ongoing debate.
What a gorgeous start to this Thursday morning. Look at the sun shining off the skyscrapers in downtown Nashville. And if you're in the outskirts, maybe you're waking up in the country this morning. I bet it's gorgeous out in the fields. We have got your forecast for what's going to be a jam-packed weekend with our Code Red meteorologist Greg Bobus in just a few.
Steer clear traffic takes us to the north side of town, 65 at Trinity Lane. One crash to tell you about, and this is it. We'll continue to watch other areas of town.
All righty. Thanks so much, fellas. And thank you for joining us for Fox 17 News This Morning. I'm Jennifer Waddell.
And I'm Erica Glover. We're going to get started this Thursday morning with an update now regarding a Davidson County judge setting bond at $2.5 million. This is for the man accused of poisoning his pregnant girlfriend,
ultimately leading to her and the baby's death. This is former Tennessee Titan scout Blaze Taylor, who is charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. Again, accused of poisoning his girlfriend Jade, beginning in February of 2023. Jade Benning and her unborn child both died. Taylor arrested in Utah earlier this month. We know his next court appearance is set for May 9th.
Right now, we are hearing from folks who live over in West Nashville, specifically Sylvan Heights. They say they're frustrated because of railroad construction that is nonstop. We're talking all hours of the night.
If this sounds familiar, it's because we covered a story just like this in the Gulch over the last few months. And just like the situation in the Gulch, this setup is legal because there is no ordinance in that neighborhood right now to prevent the construction, according to the district's councilwoman.
Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar is telling us what folks are going through and about the efforts to stop this.
Here in the Sylvan Heights neighborhood, some people getting ready to go to work this morning might be tired because they say that overnight construction noises are keeping them awake. They say that they are hearing noises starting from about 9 o'clock at night until the early morning hours, and that it's coming from construction on this railroad behind me down the road. And we can't actually take you to that construction because we're not allowed to be there, but it's near Lookout and Centennial from CSX. They also say there are smells coming from the construction. You might remember there was a similar issue in the Gulch with construction noises that resulted in a bill to help with that. But Brenda Gadd, the neighborhood's councilwoman, says this is a public works infrastructure, so it might be a little more challenging to make it stop.
I've also sent inquiry to our codes department to understand if we're able to enforce any type of the noise noise ordinance, the metro noise ordinance. At this time, I've been informed that the railroad work is considered the public works infrastructure, and there's an exemption under our metro noise ordinance there. So we're looking at other ways that we can perhaps preserve the quality of life for neighbors that are living near us there.
Gad says that she'll be in the Sylvan Heights neighborhood today to talk to people about what they're experiencing. And she says that she's reached out to multiple agencies to try to figure out a way to make the construction on the railroad stop during those overnight hours. I also reached out to CSX for comment and haven't heard back yet. Reporting in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
6:54 sun is coming up for us here this morning. You're going to have plenty of it this morning into the afternoon. And then tonight, things will flip-flop. You'll wake up tomorrow morning with rain on the radar and increasing sun for the end of the day. 80s return tomorrow. Today, one more day in the middle 70s. Very comfortable. Code red, not a thing for us here for the rest of this week and all of the weekend. The arrow stays right there in the all clear. It's taking a break after last week. They'll rain into tonight and then for a chunk of your Friday, and not all of it. The big story this morning is temperature. We're about 10 to 12 degrees cooler than the same time yesterday, meaning that's putting us in the 40s here. Right side of your screen, you'll see your current temperatures. What does this mean getting on the road? We're cooler than yesterday morning. We're in the 40s and 50s. You grab the shades and you should be okay, but sun glare could be an issue for us here in the coming hours. No worries other than that when it comes to the forecast. Here's your 7-day. 75. 83 tomorrow, 83 on Saturday, 85 on Sunday. Next chance for some thunderstorms in the forecast will be Monday into Tuesday. But coming up in the next look at your Code Red forecast in about 5 minutes from right now, we will detail future track and plan out that rain for tonight into the first half of your Friday.
Stair clear traffic out there for you. Let's get started at 65 at Trinity Lane there on that north side. We continue to wait for emergency responders to get to this scene there on that north side that could cause some problems with a particular crash there on I-65 at Trinity Lane coming down from the Madison and Goodlettsville area, Hendersonville, all of that anywhere north of town. It is causing a slight slowdown, but nothing more than, a little bit more than usual. Let me be clear. About 5 to 10 minutes more than the normal slowdown coming down from that direction. You can want to take Ellington Parkway as the best way to steer clear of that. Looking like more stop and go coming in from I-24 San Bradley Parkway through the Antioch area, Smyrna, Rutherford County. This is Stonecrest Medical Center territory out there, making that push, that drive just over an hour right now from Murfreesboro into downtown.
Justin, thank you. 6:36 right now. We have a follow-up after weeks of heated debate right here in Tennessee. The House has killed a bill that would have banned local governments from paying to either study or dispense money for reparations for slavery.
Well, the proposal was initially introduced 1 year ago. Interest in the reparations bill emerged again later this year, just as lawmakers and Governor Bill Lee were in the process of finalizing the removal and replacement of every board member of the state's only publicly funded historically black public university. Talking about TSU. Now many other states have willingly moved to study reparations, including California, New Jersey, and also Vermont.
So to come on Fox 17 News this morning, football star Reggie Bush. Remember him? He's going to get his Heisman Trophy back. Why changing regulations prompted that move.
Also ahead on Fox 17 this morning during our 7 o'clock hour, as Brookmead Park is being renovated after a homeless encampment, questions are
professional grade. Visit Darrell Waltrip BuickGMC.com.
Before severe weather happens, download the free Fox 17 Code Red weather app.
We're covering breaking news this Thursday morning. Hendersonville IndyCar driver Joseph Newgarden has been stripped of his season opening IndyCar victory, Team Penske teammate Scott McLaughlin, who finished third in the opener in St. Petersburg, Florida, also disqualified. The team allegedly manipulated software that makes it easier to pass other cars. Although Newgarden is accused of cheating in the March 10th opener, IndyCar says it was not discovered until Sunday morning's warm-up. That was nearly 2 months later. The disqualifications gave the victory to Pat Ward, who finished second.
6:40 is the time right now. Super Bowl champion Reggie Bush. getting his Heisman Trophy back. What a turn of events here.
It's been a long time.
It has been.
The star running back for the University of Southern California was stripped of college football's highest honor back in 2010. Now, reminder, Reggie Bush won the Heisman Trophy back in 2005, but was ruled ineligible after the NCAA's investigation revealed that he took some money apparently to his parents, and they got a condo in San Diego, and there was a car and a whole bunch of other things.
But I mean, talk about times changing.
Oh yeah.
With the new NIL rules.
Yeah.
Right. That literally paved the way and opened the door for that to be perfectly legal, if not legal, even encouraged.
Perfectly fine now.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, a player like Reggie Bush, we've been underpaid back then for what he got.
Yeah.
So not only will Reggie Bush get his Heisman Trophy back, he will be invited to the future Heisman Trophy ceremonies as well.
Wow.
Maybe we'll even see him pop up on the Heisman House commercials.
Wow.
That we've seen.
Those are pretty good.
Yeah, but
Those
he's not
spots are
featured.
good.
He's
I know,
not there.
You're right.
Maybe now.
Okay.
641, big change due to a whole new landscape. Taking a look here, as far as the forecast goes, big changes when it comes to rain timing here for your Friday. We've added a little extra when it comes to hours worth of rain for Friday. Today, starting sunny, here's 4 p.m. Clouds starting to creep in overnight tonight. First half stays dry. Second half, here's midnight through 6 a.m. Rain moves in. That means tomorrow morning as you're waking up for your Friday. I'll be actively tracking rain on the radar for you to get us up and get us moving, so keep that in mind. Rain gear for the first half of your Friday, and then by noon it moves away from Nashville. By 4 p.m. it's out of the Cumberland Plateau, and then we're good to go for the rest of the weekend. 80s tomorrow, 75 today. Now, my curious question for this morning, which of the following citrus fruits does not float in water? The orange, lime, lemon, or grapefruit? We'll have the answer for you and work you through a few events in the forecast for your weekend coming your way in the next check of the forecast.
Steer clear traffic takes us out to I-24 Hickory Hollow Parkway as you make that drive in through the Antioch area. Traffic running a bit slow out there, and it's going to remain that way because, well, it's just the kind of morning that we are in right now, the time of the morning that is. Hendersonville, 36 minutes. Murfreesboro, now an hour and 10 minutes making that drive in. Clarksville, around 67 minutes in from Montgomery County.
So to come here on Fox 17 News this morning, football fans anticipating today, it's draft day. We'll dive into the Titans draft board ahead of tonight's event.
And what would you do with a flame-throwing robot?
Oh, boy.
First of all, what? Never mind.
Oh, boy.
Let's just listen. The government may be...
I don't know what to think.
Tonight at 7 on Fox 17.
All law firms are not the same. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Good morning, hockey fans. Want to let you know you can watch the Nashville Predators take on the Canucks for free tomorrow and on Sunday. Right behind me here, we are mapping out where the party is going to start. Get you prepared, you know. It's going to start over on Representative John Lewis Way, right between Demonbreun Street and then Korean Veterans Boulevard, okay? It's right between the Music City Center and the Country Music Hall of Fame. Viewing parties are going to open 2 hours before each game. That means for tomorrow's game, fans are going to be able to get into the party starting at 4:30 p.m. and you will be able to buy food and drinks, everything that you need to enjoy. The Game 3 puck drops a couple of blocks away, Bridgestone Arena, 6:30 p.m.
And here's your chance to see and cheer for your playoff Preds live at Bridgestone Arena. We're going to send you there with 2 tickets. All you have to do is scan the QR code on your screen to enter for your chance to win 2 tickets to either the Preds playoff Game 3, which is Friday, or playoff Game 4, which is Sunday at Bridgestone Arena. We know that there are some text and data rates that might apply, but again, if you want 2 free tickets to go see the Preds in the playoffs, scan that QR code right there on your screen.
Okay, so we talked about hockey. We have to talk about the NFL draft getting underway, and we should know who the Titans selected with their first pick.
Yeah, it's all going to get underway later this afternoon. Fox 17 Sports Director Jill Jelnick with more on how the team has been preparing.
NFL draft less than 24 hours away, and the Tennessee Titans say for all intensive purposes, their draft board is done. General Manager Rand Carthon saying they first stacked the board vertically based off of player talent and then horizontally with those same players, but with other varying factors. Now, just because the board is done doesn't mean things will change on draft night. Both Carthon and head coach Brian Callahan saying they are listening to all options, other teams, and will continue to do so throughout the weekend and always make sure they have the best interest of the team in mind.
People are nosy, and I think we owe it, to our organization. I owe it to Coach Callahan and his staff to, listen to all calls, no matter where they fall, just to see if it's anything enticing. If it's anything that's going to, blow us away to make us really want to, trade back. But we're just listening at this point.
Sometimes you can't project it. You don't know that that's what's going to happen. But I think there's enough good players the odds are in the favor that there's going to be some guys that can play that aren't getting picked in the top 25 picks. There's some depth of the class, and there's some good players that aren't going to go in the first round that'll probably play meaningful football for a lot of teams.
The biggest area of need for the Titans going into the draft is offensive line, specifically that left tackle position. But General Manager Rand Carthon also said they're looking for blue chips. A blue chip is a player that can start right away, a plug-and-play kind of player. And of course, they're looking for that in their offensive linemen, but they're also looking for blue chips all throughout the weekend. First round of the draft starts 7 p.m. on Thursday night. And as always, Fox 17 will have you covered. Reporting from the Titans practice facility, Jill Jelnick, Fox 17 Sports, your Code Red station.
All right, Jill, thank you so much. Hey, check this out. A company is selling something pretty wild looking. They call it the Therminator. The company, Throw Flame, says this is the first flame-throwing robot dog.
What could go wrong? Yeah, take a look. It boasts a flamethrower that delivers a, quote, on-demand, fire-anywhere situation.
It can be operated remotely by Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. Watch this video here. This is the demonstration from the company, Throw Flame. That is crazy. Battery life of up to an hour, which really isn't very long. But you might be wondering who would want one of these and why. Well, government agencies could use these for all kinds of things. Think even wildfire control and prevention, so that you could create a containment line around a fire without having to send people in to do it.
Some folks were even talking about using it to clear your driveway of snow and ice.
That's it's essentially a giant blowtorch. So yeah, you could, I guess, use this thing to blowtorch.
It seems a bit extreme. Here's the price tag.
$9,400. This would also have all kinds of military uses. All kinds.
Okay, keep it to the military.
Adding it to the arsenal.
I don't need my everyday neighbor with their robot flamethrower in the driveway.
What if our husbands were like, hey, can we get one of those?
I'd say no. No way.
Greg?
It's fully legal in 48 of the 50 states, and we're one of them. So
yeah, I mean, you can go to some outdoors type stores and buy a flamethrower.
Well, can you imagine though it's snowing in Nashville or wherever you live, Hendersonville,
and you see somebody out there with a blowtorch?
Well, your robot dog is out in the driveway.
you can control it from your smartphone.
Yeah, it's troubling.
People can't drive in Nashville. We're going to give them flamethrowing dogs when it snows. We can't drive in snow.
But also, if you had one of those, you wouldn't throw your back out shoveling your driveway.
It is true.
I mean, that's a good point. You might have some other issues at your home, though.
True.
A couple lawsuits, potentially. Who knows? Taking a look here. I'll show you our non-flamethrowing dog of the day coming up in a little bit. Right now, my curious question for you this morning has to do with citrus fruit. Which of the following citrus fruits does not float in water? Get a bucket of water, drop it in orange. Does it float? Does the lime float? Does the lemon float? Does the grapefruit float? Which one doesn't?
What?
Yeah. Which one of these fruits does not float? It sinks to the bottom when you put it in water.
Oh my God.
B.
Got it. You got it right, because it is more dense than water. Think about when you even just hold an orange, a lime, a lemon, or a grapefruit.
Why did you think that? I've made a lot of cocktails in my past, and I just thought about...
And the lime,
yes.
The lime sinks and the lemon stays on top.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There you go. Backyard forecast for you. Not that you needed to know, but now you do. As Eric always says, if she ever runs up on Jeopardy, there we go. We're all set. Taking a look, 56 degrees at 9 a.m., 69 at noon, and 74. So getting out in the backyard today is A-OK. There will be some increasing clouds, though, second stage of today, but that's not going to slow you down trying to fire up the grill either. Make the entire day a backyard day from start to finish. Evening temperatures for us here will be from 75 down to 71, 5 through 7. Rain free for now, but we'll track some rain tonight before we get to 7 o'clock.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Some cool sightings in Rhode Island from the sky to the water, like several photos of double rainbows in the Providence area Wednesday. These jellyfish spotted while feeding on baby shrimp near Allen's Harbor. And if this baby owl looks a little roughed up, it was displaced by storms in Tennessee, but now it's safe.
For more content like this, follow the National Weather Desk on Instagram.
Still clear traffic takes us to the north side, 65 at Trinity Lane up there. You can see traffic getting by without issue. Despite the fact we do have a crash there on the shoulder of the road, still waiting for crews to come deal with the aftermath of that. This is 40 at Dallas and Pike, looking really nice out near the airport. We'll continue to get your drive times coming up in a few.
Tonight on Fox 17 News at 9, an issue that is putting safety at risk. Violent criminals released on low or no bond, and some of them get out and go on to commit even more heinous crimes.
One example is this man, Anton Recker, a man with a long violent criminal history, free on bond in Rutherford County, charged with opening fire inside of a busy Salem Town restaurant in Nashville on Easter Sunday, and one person was ultimately killed. Experts say this is just one of many examples.
He was a felon, he was carrying a weapon, he had a long criminal history. Why are we letting him back out on the street? Because that's his job. His job is violence, addiction, chaos, and victimization. That's his job.
So tonight on Fox 17 News at 9, Dennis Ferrier paints a picture with example after example of a justice system that is failing to keep Middle Tennesseans safe.
Coming up, one country has restarted funding for a United Nations agency. Israel accused their staff of taking part in Hamas's October 7th attack. So more international headlines.
And still to come in our 7 o'clock hour this morning, Brookmead Park being renovated after years worth of homeless encampments. But there are still a lot of questions, especially as to why.
Appreciation sales event at Matthews Nissan. Get 2.9% for 60 months on a new Pathfinder or Altima. Plus, get a lifetime warranty. MatthewsNissan.com.
In international headlines now, Germany is resuming funding for the United Nations Aid Agency for Palestinian refugees.
Yeah, this is coming with a lot of criticism right now. The U.S., Germany, and more than a dozen other nations froze funding for that agency after Israel accused 12 of their staff members of participating in the October 7th Hamas attack. Israeli officials stepped up their accusations in March, claiming that hundreds of agency employees are actually terrorist fighters. But apparently there was an independent review just published this week claiming that Israel has not provided any evidence to support its allegations. Therefore, 10 countries have restarted sending money to this group. Meanwhile, the U.S. has banned the UN RWA financing until 2025.
All right, now in our economy, nearly a quarter of adults right here in the U.S. over the age of 50 do not think they'll ever be able to retire. That's kind of sad. Well, that is the finding from a new AARP survey. About 1 in 4 have no retirement savings. 70% of concerned prices are rising faster than their income. And many older adults reportedly are carrying more debt than ever before. More than a third carry a balance of more than $10,000. 12% have more than $20,000 when it comes to debt.
Here we are at 6:57, taking a quick look at the airport for you here as we're getting closer to the weekend. Folks coming into town, and also maybe you're getting away for a weekend. Temperatures at BNA 56 degrees at 9 o'clock, 69 at noon, and 74 at 3 p.m. Nashville weather is looking fine. No rain today at any point. And even looking at the board right now, when you get into BNA, not much when it comes to flight delay counts here. We're at 12 right now, 51 degrees current temperature at the airport. Also seeing some sunshine. We're going to have that all day long. That's no real surprise, nor is it a change for us here in the next 12 hours. We'll see just a couple of clouds. As I mentioned, getting outside is going to be fantastic. Coming up in a check of your forecast as we go live and local for you, the only ones to do it from 7 to 9, I'll have a new look at Future Track. I'm going to pinpoint the timeline of some rain tonight into tomorrow and look ahead to a stretch of 80-degree days in the 7-day forecast.
Steer clear traffic right now, I-65 at Trinity Lane. This is north of downtown. Got to back up here because we have a couple of cars, or at least one off to the right shoulder here, causing a brake check. This is part of a fairly typical morning drive into Nashville if you're north of town, but very congested as folks are just trying to move over in this spot. Got a couple of other things going on in steer clear traffic, and Justin McFarland will get you detailed on those at the top of our 7 o'clock hour.
Okay, go ahead and mark your calendars. Sunday, May 12th. That is Mother's Day, and you could win some extra money for mom next week on Monday by playing Fox 17 News' Mother's Day Mania contest. We're giving away a $100 prepaid debit card every day. That's starting Monday on Fox 17 News. Now listen, you have to watch the morning show in order to participate. If you get the question right, you could then win the $100 daily prize and also be entered for a chance to win the $5,000 weekly drawing. All right, if you want some more information about this contest, check out fox17.com/contest. And remember, it begins on Monday. Stay with us, though. Our 7 o'clock hour is starting right now.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
And a very good Thursday morning to you. One of our top stories this hour, Governor Bill Lee has an initiative that's hitting some snags. Why a franchise tax rebate for business owners may not happen this session.
Thank you so much for joining us here on Fox 17 News this Thursday morning. I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. We're glad to be your live local news source, always here for you through 9 a.m.
We're going to begin this Thursday morning with an update. A Davidson County judge setting bond at $2.5 million for the man accused of poisoning his pregnant girlfriend.
This is a story we've been following for quite some time now. He is a former Tennessee Titans scout. His name is Blaze Taylor. He's on the right. He's charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, accused of poisoning his girlfriend, Jade Benning, in February of 2023, and her unborn child. They both died.
Taylor was arrested in Utah earlier this month. His next court appearance, though, is set for May 9th.
The school voucher bill was considered by some a failure on the part of Governor Bill Lee, as his initiative was not able to get anywhere in our legislature this session. And now it looks like there's another proposal that's struggling right now. The franchise tax rebate that would benefit business owners is reportedly now in danger.
Well, House and Senate leaders got together in a conference committee to iron out differences in their bills. The Senate version calls for 3 years of rebates for businesses totaling $1.5 billion. The House version, though, calls for less than half of that. And unlike the Senate, it wants the list of companies and rebates to be made public.
I realize that there are arguments in the other chamber that that this law would withstand legal challenge. Obviously, our Attorney General and his team disagree with that argument.
Right now, I would say, based upon where we are, that for me personally, I would say that we're at an impasse. As it relates to being able to find a solution.
Governor Lee is recommending the state get rid of the property portion of the franchise tax because it's been ruled unconstitutional in other states.
There's a new report out this morning from Metro Social Services that shows a growing gap of inequity in different areas in Davidson County. So now the city is working with local leaders and the community to address the need.
Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar is joining us live from the Metro Social Services offices to tell us exactly what this report is detailing. Good morning, Karen.
Good morning. That growing gap that is showing inequity in different areas of Davidson County, Metro Social Services says is really affecting the underserved communities. Yesterday, here behind me in that building, there was an event held with local leaders and the community to address these needs. We're breaking down the key takeaways. The findings show that half of Nashville workers earn below a living wage. In 2022, more than half of renters and seniors were paying 30% or more of their income to afford housing, with only a small percentage saying they would be able to buy a home. It showed that Nashville has higher poverty rates than any other cities for most of the last decade. It shows the high school graduation rates need to improve. There is food insecurity, and some lack health insurance. Mayor Freddie O'Connell, who was at the event, reacted to this.
An investigation of vital work that informs all of us about the things we need to do. This work this year is especially important because it happens at a time of continued growth for the city, and I think this overall release is an opportunity to reset our thinking around growth and what it's supposed to do.
He says based on this new report, as he prepares the budget for this fiscal year, he is going to try to address some of these issues and hopefully help Nashvillians. Reporting live in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
7:04, 3 things to know for you here on your weather forecast, getting you started today and getting you into tomorrow. And then finally, we get into a fantastic weekend. So all the moving parts here that will get us from point A to point B. Clouds gradually decrease, or I should say increase throughout the day. They decreased overnight. That got us a little bit cooler. Right side of your screen, we're in the 40s to right near 50 degrees this morning to kick off, but we'll be in the 70s later on this afternoon. Rain arrives tonight into your Friday, and unfortunately, the first couple hours of your Friday, we're going to continue to see some showers out there. That weather maker, though, is still states away. Don't worry about rain today. Leave the umbrella at home. Grab the sunglasses for the first half of this one with a quick warm-up, as I mentioned, into the 70s. But here's how much cooler we are across the board. A good 10 degrees. Where does that put us? Puts us at 51 in Nashville. Everyone else still in the 40s here to start the day, but when you're loaded with sunshine, not a bad place to be. And these temperatures will all be at or above 50 degrees by the time we get to 8 o'clock. We'll make our run for 75 right in the middle of the afternoon. A few clouds will pick up. We'll see what that means for after-school sports. We have your Preds forecast for the home game tomorrow. We have Tim McGraw tonight at Bridgestone. We have the Rock and Roll Marathon on Saturday. Forecast for all your events coming up in the next check of your forecast.
Steer clear traffic out there. Let's get to a couple of things that have popped up here in the last few minutes. We're going to get started at I-24, very close to Thompson Lane or Briley Parkway, depending on how you want to look at it, because there's really no exit for Thompson Lane there. But you can see Briley Parkway for sure. Emergency crews on the scene right now. The fire department there as well, dealing with a box truck here on the shoulder. This is going to cause some backup back towards the Antioch area, back towards Smyrna and Laverne. You can take Highway 41, Murfreesboro Pike as the best way to steer clear. Nolensville Pike can also help you with that. Real quick heads up, want to tell you about the drive-in from Dickson. We do have a crash on I-40, really slowing things up about an hour and 15 minutes in right now from Dickson. You can take Highway 70 to steer clear.
Justin, thank you. Developing right now, Fox 17 News is working to learn more after a fire destroys a home in Clarksville.
Yes, we're going to show you some video right here, and you can see this Dash 10 media footage showing the smoke, the intense flames. We do understand that this house had a whole lot of damage, leaving just the shell of a home. It's over in North Clarksville. It happened just around 6 o'clock last night.
Clarksville police tell Fox 17 News that everybody did get out safely, so that's the good news, and they'll continue to investigate. Tensions are high in our state house as we come to an end of this legislative session. Fox 17 News tracking all the latest, and we're going to hear from one lawmaker who says some of the ongoing debate is a waste of time.
And Fox 17 News, we want to say thank you for waking up with us here. We're your only local station with traffic and weather updates live from 4 until...
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Tennessee Home Buyers.
7:09 is the time. We are getting towards the end of the legislative session, and lawmakers have been debating with each other for months now. Long debates over school vouchers, immigration, gun control, taxes, you name it. Well, Representative Justin Pearson from Memphis is one of those who grabs the microphone quite a bit. I'm sure you've seen him there on television. Here on Fox 17 News, we feature him. Well, one of the colleagues there on the House floor had simply heard enough after one of the most recent debates that they had. Take a listen to this.
So let's focus on how we make sure our public universities become the best that they could be by the actions of this body, and not take political talking points and political points and use people like the comptroller for political aims instead of doing things that actually improve the experience of students who go to our public universities. Representative, thank you, Speaker.
For a year, I've heard members say, I appreciate your comments. I've heard people placate you. I've heard people sit back and accept your arguments. The only waste of time is not this legislation. It's when you burn 5 minutes at a time of our lives.
What's the objection? Point of order. Point of order.
By the way, session is scheduled to end as soon as today. Now, there's always a chance that they could extend a little bit longer, of course. Fox 17 News will continue to follow the moves of lawmakers there on Capitol Hill. Well, the Nashville Cats are back after a 16-year hiatus. The Nashville Cats will be kicking off the 2024 arena football season coming up on Saturday. The team played in Nashville from 1998 until 2001, and then most recently from 2005 to 2007. You're looking at Andy Kelly throwing touchdown passes right there. I remember these days. The AFL, that's the Arena Football League, filed for bankruptcy a few years ago, but they announced last summer that they're back.
This game's different. It's about, it's a lot different, but it's entertainment. It clearly is entertainment. So we hope anybody that comes in there, when they leave with that smile, that brings them back the next time.
Of course, that is the former Titans head coach Jeff Fisher, who is now one of the executives with the Nashville Cats. This Saturday's game is one of 5 home games for the Nashville Cats. They've even got one in Clarksville they're going to play. Kickoff against the Minnesota Myth is set for 7:30 on Saturday night.
Coming up next, your Code Red forecast. We are cool, but also sunny. We have temperatures right now hovering near 50 degrees. We're talking about a streak of 80s, but rain before they get here. The timeline in your forecast.
Steer clear traffic takes us to I-24 Thompson Lane in Antioch as you make that drive in. Hopefully, emergency crews will be leaving the scene soon because it's causing a backup. We'll tell you the best ways to steer clear. Also coming up, the latest changes being made to Brookmead Park. We're going to tell you what city leaders are planning.
All with the world's smallest and thinnest sensor. Manage your diabetes with more confidence and lower your A1C. Try it for free at freestylelibre.us.
Welcome back. This Thursday morning, we're getting responses from neighbors who live by Brookmead Park, okay? This comes after Fox 17 News' Amanda Chin spoke with the chair of Metro Parks about why they're not going to reopen until 2025.
Right, and the backstory here is that Brookmead Park had been a huge homeless encampment for years, so bad that everyday taxpayers couldn't use that park. She joins us now in studio now to tell us more about what you've been able to find out. Good morning, Amanda.
Good morning, guys. Well, these neighbors were very outspoken about the homeless encampment inside Brookmead Park for years. They pushed for change, but now tell me they're very disappointed with what they feel is a lack of progress. Now, the Metro Parks Board Chair says it's a long process to get Brookmead Park back to the community. And we showed you what it used to look like inside Brookmead Park for more than a decade. The community and city leaders acknowledged it wasn't a safe place for anyone to be. Finally closed, the community was hopeful. Now, a year and a half later, the Metro Parks Board Chair tells me the procurement process is still happening while they are working to finalize the contractor, which is why it won't open until 2025. The Parks Board Chair also says the park will return to its original state, and because of the topography, contractors will just restore walking paths and will add nothing new.
It looks like they were paying us lip service. They had no intention of doing anything to this park to make it ready for the community to use. And the fact that they did it this way is so distrustful. There's no transparency, there's no communication.
Now, Amanda, we know a big concern from the community is securing the park so once it does reopen, it doesn't turn into another encampment, right?
Yeah, exactly. And these community members tell me they don't feel like it's the responsibility of these community members to report evidence of a homeless encampment, because when I spoke to the Metro Parks Board Chair, she was hopeful that they would do that. But the community members tell me they hope that Metro Parks police patrol the area since they feel that's their job. No word yet exactly how this park will be patrolled. I did ask that, but I think it's a, not only a community effort, but also the job of the Metro Parks Police to also patrol the area. And we know that they've seen this encampment there for over a decade, so of course they're nervous that something might pop up again.
Of course. I mean, yeah, there are people on payroll whose job it is to patrol these parks, to look out for any problems, which is what led to the frustration, high-level frustration with these neighbors who feel like, how did you let it get to this point?
Right, of course, and there are ordinances that, that was not allowed. It was against the law for that encampment to be there, so.
Amanda, great reporting. We appreciate you. I know you stay on top of it.
Well, happening this weekend, the St. Jude Rock and Roll Running Series is coming back to Nashville this weekend. The marathon route, do want to make you aware for, traffic headaches that could pop up. It's going to start over on 8th and Broadway and then finishes up right outside of Nissan Stadium. It's really a special marathon because along the course, more than 25 bands are going to be out there performing.
Rocking and rolling, physically, literally, for the folks who are running, but also for all the family and friends who are out there to watch their folks run that race. So official race days Saturday and Sunday too?
Yes,
okay.
There's another race like a 1 miler on Sunday.
All right. Weather's looking great for all the things that are coming up here in the mid-state and southern Kentucky for the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, truly, as the forecast beginning of the week, we were kind of wondering what's Saturday going to look like. There was the chance for some rain. That's taken a hike. I boosted the temperatures just a few degrees here. This is Saturday, 7 a.m. So we're talking about right when things are getting rolling here for the marathon. Mild morning. Wind out of the south. The wind profile hasn't really changed. What I mean by that is I'm not seeing any fluctuations of the wind dying down more than this or getting any stronger. Right around 10 to 20 miles per hour. Rain chance nearly zero. 68 degrees goes to 74 degrees by 10 a.m. So if you're running, make sure you know by late morning we're already close to the 80-degree mark by right around noon. Breezy, but still warm very quickly. And if you're spectating, shouldn't need to have any extra layers out there. Taking a look, we have the sun beating down on us here from our Metro Center camera and everything looking good. Temperatures already climbing. Taking a look at future track. This is through 4 p.m. Sunshine until then. Then the clouds will pick up for us overnight. I want you to watch this here, midnight through 6 a.m. Waking up tomorrow morning, pockets of rainfall on the radar. We'll be actively tracking as we're getting the kids to school for a Friday, as we're just trying to start that last day of the work week. Maybe even a pocket or two of some heavier rainfall we have to watch out for. Future track through noon tomorrow. Still a broken line of some showers, maybe even a weak rumble of thunder out to the Cumberland Plateau. And then all is good for the rest of our upcoming weekend. Know what else is good? Our good dog of the day. We've got Rusty, sent in by the Miller family from Columbia. And if you need a good dog walking today and you've got a good dog you want to take for a walk, today's a nice one. 75 this afternoon, 83 tomorrow, low to middle 80s on Saturday and Sunday. We'll talk about what it means for the Preds and also take a drive down 65 to Franklin for a big event coming up. And the next look at your forecast.
Steer clear traffic at 7:20 this morning. Let's take a quick look at what we've got going on I-24 Thompson Lane. Making that drive in from the Antioch area, we can see authorities remain on the scene with what looks like a pretty wrecked out car there on that shoulder right now. So that is going to slow your drive coming in from Antioch. We just had a fire truck leave the scene. Ambulance just left the scene, but it's still slowing things down. You can take Murfreesboro Pike as the best way to steer clear of that. Still dealing with a massive backup here on I-40 coming in from Dickson around 75 minutes. You want to use Highway 70 through White Bluff to steer clear of that. And we're still dealing with one more crash, 65 at Concord coming through Brentwood. Take Franklin Pike to steer clear.
Justin, thank you. From Middle Tennessee with this live look, we're taking you to New York City. We're continuing
with family. Seems like they could use some help.
Man, it's a miracle, you don't say.
Unsung Hero in theaters Friday. Rated PG.
We have some breaking news updates now from New York City because we do know former President Donald Trump is returning to court this Thursday morning as the trial regarding hush money payments resumes. This is a live look right outside of Trump Tower, and it is heavily blocked off. A lot of security right there. He's expected to walk out any minute. Wednesday, though, was a scheduled day off. That was expected. Jurors are expected to go ahead and hear more witness testimony from the prosecutor's first witness, National Enquirer publisher David Pecker. That's his name. In a separate case today, though, the U.S. Supreme Court is going to hear arguments on whether or not Trump should receive immunity for actions that he reportedly took while in office.
Well, let's take a live look from New York City to 5 Points there in Franklin.
From Franklin City.
Yeah, there we go. If you're looking for something to do this weekend, they are getting set for the 40th annual Main Street Festival. It's going to be taking place in the historic downtown area there in Franklin coming up here this weekend.
Always a good time. They've got the Main Street Festival in the spring, and then they've got the Pumpkin Fest in the fall. Absolutely gorgeous, quintessential, historic downtown Franklin. If you haven't been yet, would really encourage you to go. They've got vendors and food and activities for the kids. And by the way, Fox 17 is a sponsor. So we're glad to be part of this. Again, 40 years that they've been doing this.
Yeah.
And we've been doing it for I guess as long as I've been here.
Pretty long, yeah.
About
We've been a long time sponsor.
Yeah.
So go out there and enjoy the fun. Let's see if the weather will be right for it. Let's get to Greg.
Let's do it right now. Here's a look for that specific festival down there in Franklin Saturday and Sunday. Everyone, high temperatures here. 80 degrees on Saturday, 82 on Sunday. I'm going to tell you right now, it's not going to be hot. It's going to be comfortably warm, a little bit of a breeze. Wear your sunscreen. This is that time of the year when a nice, comfortable day with a little breeze can still give you a really quick burn. But morning temperature is going to be in the 60s both days of the upcoming weekend, and that includes down in Franklin. Taking a look here, you can scan the QR code on your screen. You know you got your phone, but you want to know when it rains tomorrow and how to miss it if you're out and about? That's how you do it. You scan the QR code right there, or you go to the Apple Store or the Google Play Store. This is a free app. Just type in code red weather. You'll find it, and it also gives you hour-by-hour forecasts. My 7-day will be on there every day for you in the morning, so you know what's going on. You can also connect on social media, Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Best place to go when it comes to severe weather to get those real-time updates pushed right to you. And if you just want to have a weather question or want to say hi or submit your dog of the day, you can go to meteorologist Greg Bobus on Facebook. I'd love to hear from you guys.
All right, Greg, thank you so much. Steer clear traffic. Let's take you to I-65 at the Concord Road area. That's down in Brentwood. That is where we are still dealing with the aftermath of a crash in that area. That's got a flatbed truck out there taking a look. You can see TDOT officials walking by. It is slowing you down as you make that drive in and around the Brentwood area. You can take Franklin Pike as the best way to steer clear of that. Still dealing with a crash at 24 Thompson Lane coming through the Antioch area, very close to Briley Parkway. Crews continue to work that scene. You can try to take Murfreesboro Pike or Nolensville Pike. It's a good way to steer clear of that. We've got your latest drive times coming up in your 7:30 half hour.
It is also true with the transaction.
A bill fueling debate from lawmakers. The latest on the bill relating to reparations for descendants of slaves here in Tennessee.
Coming up, I'll tell you the biggest takeaways of a new report by Metro Social Services that
Crew Cab, or get 10% below MSRP on the 2024 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cab.
This Fox 17 newscast is sponsored by the Higgins Firm. You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
A bill that created some debates, now tabled. We're going to have the latest from the Tennessee State Capitol in a couple of moments.
And the sun is out. Temperatures are already climbing back into the 70s. Get ready for a streak of 80-degree days, but we have to get through one rainmaker first. We'll time it for you in your Code Red forecast.
Steer clear traffic takes us to I-24 at Thompson Lane. That's the Briley Parkway area. Things moving along despite the crash. We'll tell you the best ways to steer clear.
Okay, you heard Greg. Just one rainmaker. We can do this.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us here on Thursday morning for Fox 17 News. I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. We're glad to be your live local news source through 9 a.m. Did you know that when the other stations go to their network morning news, that's pre-recorded. That's not even live. But we've got you covered live and local through 9 a.m.
We're going to get started talking about politics because after weeks of very much so heated debate, the Tennessee House killing the bill that would have banned local governments from paying to either study or dispense money for reparations when we talk about slavery. Listen here.
There can never be a morally appropriate reason for unjustly depriving a person of their God-given liberty and selling them into servitude. This is true whether the enslaver is an African monarchy or a Mexican cartel. It is also true with the transaction.
To say to anyone, local government to individuals, you cannot and you should not study reparations. It's ugly. For lack of a better word, it's ugly.
This proposal was initially introduced 1 year ago by Representative John Reagan. Well, the bill had a resurgence, you could say, during the move to remove and replace Tennessee State University's board. If you want to read more about this particular story, go to fox17.com.
At 7:31 right now, we have a lot of events coming up for the weekend. In fact, starting tonight, Tim McGraw said he likes it, he loves it, he wants some more of it. And Greg, that's your forecast. He said, give me more of the forecast.
Tim, I will give you and everyone else as much of the forecast as you want because it will be really nice. He'll be right there later on tonight. And then hopefully we hear that song a lot tomorrow night when the Preds are on the ice. That will be even better, getting a double dose from Tim. If you don't know what I mean and you're new to town, when we score goals, that's the song that gets played. 51 degrees right now in Nashville. We're bright and sunny, and we're going to continue with that sun for the first half of today. Most of us are still in the 40s, but you're not losing by any means. We'll all be in the 70s this afternoon. No rain today, but we did mention a rainmaker. When does it get here? Overnight tonight into tomorrow. So this morning, traffic is not going to be an issue because of any weather. We have temps in the 40s and 50s, sunglasses, we're crystal clear, no weather in terms of visibility or rain that we have to worry about. Curious question for today. Which of the following citrus fruits does not float in water? So think about cutting one of these up in half or in slices or whatever. You drop it in water. Which one of these will not float? Oranges, limes, lemons, or grapefruit? We'll have a look at your 7-day forecast and the answer to your curious forecast or your curious question coming up in the next time you see me here in your Code Red forecast.
Steer clear traffic, a lot to share with you coming in from I-65 near Concord Road. This is down in Brentwood. As you can see there, traffic can't get by despite the fact we've had a crash that was out there on the road. At one point, it was blocking one side of the road there next to the barrier. Now they've stopped traffic and moved everything over to the shoulder there so they can deal with it there. Still causing minor delays down from Brentwood. I'll tell you how much in just a second. First, I want to show you this. This is 24 Thompson Lane. You can see that flatbed making the aggressive turn to get into there so they can get that tow truck in place and get that car out of there, hopefully freeing up these lanes. Let me show you what it's doing to the drives, everyone. Dickson coming in at 57 minutes, a bit of a slowdown there on I-40. 78 minutes coming in from Murfreesboro. It's about an hour and 20 minutes, nearly an hour coming in right now from Franklin. You can use Franklin Pike to try and steer clear or just leave earlier.
Justin, thank you. 7:34 is the time right now, and new this morning, there is a new report out from Metro Nashville that shows a reported growing gap of inequity in different parts of Davidson County.
Yeah, so now they're working with local leaders, they say, and also community members to address the needs. Just depends on where you're at. Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar joining us live, though, from Metro Social Services, their offices, to tell us what this report is truly laying out.
Good morning. According to the report, nearly 3/4 of Nashvillians are seeing a growing divide between the rich and the poor. Yesterday, behind me at this building, Metro Social Services shared what our county is lacking to help underserved communities. In that report, we're breaking down some of the biggest takeaways. The findings show that half of Nashville workers earn below a living wage. In 2022, more than half of renters and seniors were paying 30% or more of their income to afford housing. And that's, as I just mentioned, that the workers are earning below a living wage, which makes this a pretty big problem. It also shows that Nashville has higher poverty rates than other cities, to name a few things. Renee Pratt, the executive director of Metro Social Services, says she is not surprised by the findings.
Sometimes it's overshadowed by all the growth and the development here in Nashville. But again, we have to look at the underbelly and who we're not serving.
Mayor Freddie O'Connell says moving forward, he plans to address some of the issues that were outlined in this report. Reporting live in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you. Also in our local headlines, President Biden is granting executive clemency to 16 people, including 3 folks right here in Middle Tennessee.
All right, let's get a look at the rundown here. It includes Xavier Martez Parnell of Clarksville. He was sentenced to 25 years in prison for drug possession with the intent to distribute. That's now been reduced to 17.5 years. The others from Tennessee were serving sentences for drug charges as well.
After the break, we're heading to Franklin. Want to let you know about the police department. Yeah, the city of Franklin says they're struggling to keep police officers. We're going to tell you how they're making some moves to hopefully make a lasting change.
And for all of you waking up with us here on this Thursday morning, hope your day is off to a great start. We're showing you right now 2 different live looks from the heart of Nashville. We've got downtown, top left, bottom right. We've got a look at your steer clear traffic. Want to quickly let you know that we've got a Facebook Live going up right now over on my Facebook page. If you want to watch with us behind the scenes while you watch live.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Eurostone.
More breaking news on Fox 17 News this Thursday morning, talking about the U.S. economy slowing sharply for the first quarter of 2024. America's GDP grew by 1.6% in the first quarter. Now listen, that is far from the 2.2% predicted by some economists. It's also down from 3.4% annual growth for the fourth quarter of 2023. The slow growth, economist says, also reflects an economy pressured, we know this, by those high interest rates.
News from your community this morning. The city of Franklin has just approved raises for the Franklin Police Department. This was announced by the Board of Mayor and Aldermen there in Franklin earlier in the week.
Yeah, the city leader said they just really wanted to make sure that people know that they honor and value law enforcement there, so they wanted to increase the pay. So this applies to starting officers in Franklin, even if you have no previous experience at all. If you have never been a member of law enforcement, you become an officer on the force there in Franklin, you're starting at $60,000 a year.
Now, the police chief there in Franklin, Deb Faulkner, says she's encouraging anyone who wants a rewarding career in the city that values and supports police officers to apply there in Franklin.
Hey, also happening in your community this morning, the Nashville Fire Department is getting a bit of an upgrade, you could say, getting some new fire trucks to add to their fleet. All right, we're introducing the new squad response trucks aimed at improving overall emergency response.
Yeah, they say they are state-of-the-art trucks that will help reduce the response time, and they can respond to things like car wrecks and elevator rescues a lot faster than they have in the past.
All right, 7:41 is the time right now. We've got a live look here from Nashville, the heart of Music City, USA. Great start to this Thursday. How's the weekend going to hold up? When is the next chance for rain? Greg will tell us in minutes.
We're also watching your steer clear traffic. A few things to take a look at, as a matter of fact. This is 65 at Concord Road in Brentwood. Just part of the slowdown. We're going to tell you how long it could take you to get from Franklin into town.
And the debate continues over that bill that would allow teachers to carry in the classroom.
Cars, SUVs, trucks, vans are all in stock. Drive KBB.com's best value brand now with payments from $239 a month. Search your local Honda dealer today.
Right now, Fox 17 News has continuing coverage on the plan to allow Tennessee school staffers to make a decision on whether or not to carry a gun on campus. It's now in the hands of Governor Bill Lee.
It is on the desk waiting for signature. Fox 17 News reporter Peyton Muse joining us live outside of the Capitol with reaction from some of our school districts already speaking out.
Good morning, Jen and Erica. So this law sparking controversy in and out of the state legislature.
Protesters, including lawmakers, laying on the Capitol floor playing dead, showing their disapproval of the law allowing school staff to carry a gun if they want. Republican Representative Jody Barrett says this law is really meant to help rural counties like his in Dickson.
One of my counties is the 11th largest geographic county in the state of Tennessee. There are 2 high schools in the county, and one high school is about 18 miles away from the sheriff's office.
Rep. Barrett says the faster the response, like how Metro Police responded to the Covenant School mass shooting, the better. A parent of 2 Columbine High School students who survived the massacre in 1999 says he is not against SROs, but does not think arming teachers is the way to go.
Most schools have an emergency operations plan in place that they've developed. Most schools do not have emergency management programs.
The way this works is a written plan is set in stone. It lays out what each person within the school, including SROs, would do in an active shooter situation. The program itself has the framework on preparedness, mitigation, response, and recovery. Essentially, he says each school would appoint a teacher who is willing to take on the role of an emergency manager. Representative Barrett does say schools across the state have an emergency action plan in conjunction with law enforcement.
So this bill it actually improves that by adding a whole lot more training requirements and background checks and hoops that folks are going to have to jump through in order to be qualified to participate in the program.
He's open to additional ways to keep Tennessee schools safe.
Now, the bill sits on Governor Lee's desk awaiting a signature, and it's ultimately up to the school districts to decide whether or not they're going to allow their staff to carry. And also, some schools have already sent out letters saying their staff will not be carrying on school grounds. Reporting live at the Capitol, Peyton Muse, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Yeah, so we have Metro Nashville Public Schools, Sumner County Schools, and Rutherford County Schools who have all come out just since this was announced, saying that they will not be putting that into effect in their school districts. We want to hear from you. We've got a live poll right now on our Twitter page. If you go to Twitter.com or X.com, it's called X now, and search Fox Nashville, you'll find this question: would you be okay with your child's teacher being armed? And right now, our live poll shows 69% of you say yes, you would be okay with that. We've got, gosh, close to 1,400 votes so far this morning. So if you want to sound off, you can vote yes or no, plus you can leave us a comment. Again, Twitter.com, or you can scan that QR code right there on your screen.
7:47, we do want to check in and get that forecast. Greg, we mentioned everything that's happening this weekend, but also want to let people know on our website, fox17.com, we have a list of strawberry farms that folks can enjoy this weekend. I mean, we have all the counties: Clay County, Coffee County, Cumberland County, Davidson County, everywhere you need
Robertson
to go.
County.
All the counties.
Yes.
So check it out. I know that's what I want to do this weekend, among all the other things going on.
So my question is, if you go strawberry picking, do you pick strawberries just for the right then and now, like for your weekend recipes? Or do you go to pick strawberries to can or to dehydrate? What's your goal?
Yikes. Okay, so admittedly, I eat all the strawberries
Okay, so
pretty
then and
quickly.
now. So
then
you
and
go,
now.
Okay.
Even when I'm out there. Oops.
That's fine. God made dirt. Dirt don't hurt.
Fox 17 News presents fruit. So I will continue with that theme because my curious question is going to get the answer now. And we involve more fruit, citrus fruit this time around. Which of the following citrus fruits that are listed on your screen, if you cut the thing in half and put it in water, will not float? Oranges, limes, lemons, or grapefruit? I asked this question about an hour ago. Erica got the answer. It is, in fact, the lime. So next time you might be having your favorite outdoor beverage, or maybe you're getting, some Mexican food and you have something and you watch the lime float and then sink the second it goes in the water. That is why limes do not float in water. Taking a look, your flight cast, maybe you have a flight of someone coming into town, or you're getting out of Nashville for a weekend for a getaway. Temperatures climbing into the 70s by 3 p.m. and a couple of clouds will increase with that, but nothing happening right now. The board up to 20 flight delays. That sounds like a lot, but really this time of the day and given the amount of air traffic we get, fairly typical. 51 degrees right now at the airport, and the best part is, even with the delays, we have no cancellations so far this morning out at the airport. Taking a look here, let's go golfing. Take a look. Your tee times: 9 a.m., 56 degrees, noon, 67, and then 3 p.m., 74 degrees. And you know that just gave me the idea to bring a golf club in studio next time we do that. I'm just saying. Taking a look here, we'll go 75 this afternoon, 80s for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Rain chances for tomorrow, 6 a.m. through about noon in the Nashville area. Rain out of the plateau, just isolated showers by 4 o'clock. Your evening looks great.
All right, everyone, let's take a look at your steer clear traffic for you this morning. Let's get you out to I-24 at Thompson Lane. This is over in the Antioch area. We were dealing with a crash a little bit earlier this morning. Thankfully, that crash has moved out of the way. So crashes are gone, and now all lanes are open there on 24 near Thompson as you make that drive in from Antioch. The drive times are also adjusting even as we speak, so we're going to give you fresh information coming up in a few.
All right, hockey fans, are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, do I have your attention? Okay. You can watch the Nashville Preds take on the Canucks for free tomorrow and on Sunday. The party is going to start over on Representative John Lewis Way between Demonbreun Street and Korean Veterans Boulevard. I'm mapping it out for you if you're not too distracted by my fang fingers. Hey, listen, that is right between the Music City Center and the Country Music Hall of Fame. Viewing parties open 2 hours before each game. That means for tomorrow's game, fans will be able to get into the party starting at 4:30 p.m. and then be able to buy the food and the drinks and all the gear. The Game 3 puck drops a block away over at Bridgestone, of course, 6:30 p.m.
And we've got your chance to see and cheer for your playoff Preds live at Bridgestone Arena. That's right, we're giving you tickets to the game, in fact. All you have to do is scan the QR code right there on your screen. You'll enter for your chance to win. And get this, you'll either get tickets to Game 3, which is tomorrow night at Bridgestone Arena, or you could get the 2 tickets to Game 4, which is coming up Sunday. And the Sunday matchup is a midday matchup, so good timing on that. You could go maybe after church. As always, there are some message and data rates that may apply. If you need the complete contest details, head to fox17.com. But again, there's your QR code to scan right now to enter to win 2 free Preds playoff tickets.
Well, Thursday on Fox 17 News at 9, an issue putting your safety at risk. Violent criminals released on low or no bond.
And some of them do get out and go on to commit even more heinous crimes. This is a story that really came to light in earnest after the murder of the woman in Memphis who was out on a jog. Remember, she was a teacher and a mother, and the man who was accused in the crime was out as well. And police said, investigators said he should have never even been out on the streets. So that prompted a lot of discussions here in our state. We've got another case right now. A guy by the name of Anton Rucker, man with a long violent criminal history, free on bond in Rutherford County, is now charged with opening fire in the Nashville restaurant Easter Sunday where one person was killed. Experts say this is just one of many examples like this.
He was a felon. He was carrying a weapon. He had a long criminal history. Why are we letting him back out on the street? Because that's his job. His job is violence, addiction, chaos, and victimization. That's his job.
Tonight on Fox 17 News at 9, our Dennis Ferrier is painting a startling picture with example after example of a justice system failing to keep Middle Tennesseans safe.
As we approach our 8 o'clock hour, it's 7:53 right now, and a live look from the heart of Music City. Just a note of gratitude to say thank you. We appreciate you and love having you wake up.
Customer Appreciation Sales Event at Matthews Nissan. Get 2.9% for 60 months on a new Pathfinder or Altima. Plus, get a lifetime warranty. MatthewsNissan.com.
Hey, welcome back. It's National Parks Week, so right now is a great time to get outdoors. The weather is certainly going to cooperate. And new from the Williamson source, this weekend, the city of Brentwood is opening up some brand new mountain bike trails.
This sounds like a lot of fun. The trail's going to open this Saturday at Smith Park. So mountain bike trails at Smith Park is going to be the place to be this weekend. And as Erica said, weather is looking fantastic.
We're also talking about Small Business Week, which starts Sunday.
In honor of that, in your community right now, the United States Small Business Association is honoring 3 of our local businesses. Let's take a look here. The winners include Jacqueline Hayes from Nashville for the woman-owned Naveen Shmara of Murfreesboro for invention, and then Dean Wegner from Nashville for the veteran-owned business. So you can see them all here on your screen. Congratulations. Listen, these are everyday people. These are our neighbors, right, doing great things with their own small businesses right here in our backyard.
Hey, it's hard to believe this is the last full week of April because Sunday, May 12th, I'm trying to make sure y'all put this on your calendar, is Mother's Day, and we're trying to help you out here.
And I know we can't forget Mother's Day, but you saying that just now made me think that the end of the school year is getting here quickly.
Listen, we have the Mother's Day Mania Trivia Contest. We want to help you make some money. We're giving away a $100 prepaid debit card every day starting Monday. Yeah, starting Monday, Fox 17 News this morning. You got to watch the morning show. We're going to have the Mother's Day Mania QR code. If you get the question right, you could then win the daily $100 prize and and be entered to win the $5,000 weekly drawing. Play the Mother's Day Mania contest right here on Fox 17 News this morning starting Monday. And you do not have to be a mom in order to win, but if you do win, perhaps you want to treat your special person to something nice.
Or if you're a mom and you win, treat yourself.
That's right. Treat yourself.
Go get a mani-pedi, get a massage.
Just get some peace and quiet.
New books.
If you're a mom and you win, don't even tell them. Just go have your day and then just come home.
They never have to know. Shh, nobody has to know.
Just go off the grid. We mentioned just a moment ago that today is National Park Day. So why not look at a couple of things you can do out at the park later on today that will be perfect. We mentioned biking. Temperature's going to get into the middle 70s right in the early to mid-afternoon. So that's a little too warm for you. I would suggest the next couple hours this morning or after around 3 o'clock. Those are going to be your peak times here when we have our yellow bars that are in the 60s. Very good day. Or maybe, you know what, that's just too much physical exertion and you just want to sit down. Maybe have a nice meal outside. Maybe have a picnic in the park. Great day for it as well. 5, 6, and 7 o'clock. It is that sweet spot here of the 60s. 65 degrees at 5, 64 at 6, and 63 degrees at 7. As we go into our 8 o'clock half hour, we'll have a new look at future track for you. We do have some rain that moves in tonight into a portion of your Friday. A new look at the exact timeline of that coming straight your way.
Steer clear traffic takes us over to the very latest happening on I-24 Waldron Road. You make that drive in from the Rutherford County area. You can see traffic is slow around the curve there. Unsure of exactly what the issue is. Just know it's going to take you extra time getting in from Rutherford County this morning. We're going to give you the very latest on all the drive times coming up here in our 8 o'clock hour in just a few seconds.
You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
A very good morning to you. 8 o'clock on the dot right now. Tennessee Governor Bill Lee said he was just trying to help some business owners by easing the tax burden. He wanted to put in a franchise tax rebate for business owners in our state, but that's hitting a snag in this legislative session. We'll tell you what's going on.
Coming up, I'll tell you some of the biggest takeaways of a new report by Metro Social Services that aims to identify inequities in different areas of this county.
8 o'clock on the dot. Thanks so much for joining us on Fox 17 News this Thursday morning. I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. We're glad to be your live local news source. Always here for you through 9 a.m. It's the only place in the mid-state in southern Kentucky you can get it like this. And we bring you an update this morning now to a story that we've been following for quite some time. Bond is now set at $2.5 million for the Nashville man who is accused of poisoning and killing his pregnant girlfriend and her unborn baby.
A very disturbing story here. Former Tennessee Titans scout Blaze Taylor is charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. He's accused of poisoning his girlfriend, Jade Benning, back in February of 2023. Benning, at the time, and her unborn child both died. Taylor was arrested, though, in Utah. That was earlier this month. His next court appearance is set for May 9th.
8:01 right now. Does it seem to you like the gap between perhaps, as it has been called, the haves and the have-nots, right? Or the upper class down to middle and lower class. Does it seem like the gap between is getting bigger to you in Nashville? Well, Metro Nashville thought it was an issue, so they just put out a new report looking at this exact problem.
Yeah, so Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar is joining us right outside of their office, telling us more about what's in this report and then how community leaders are now coming together to kind of make a difference, correct?
Correct. Not just does this report show that there's a growing divide between the rich and the poor, it also shows that there is a higher poverty rate in this city than other cities. Now, yesterday behind me, at this building, Metro Social Services shared what was lacking in this county to help underserved communities. We're breaking down some of the biggest takeaways of the report. It showed that half of Nashvillians earn below a living wage. And with that in mind, they have to figure out a way to pay the high rent in Nashville. The report found that just 2 years ago, more than half of renters were paying 30% or more of their income just to afford housing, with only a small percentage saying they would be able to buy a home. Those are just some of the areas that are facing issues, including health and education. Mayor Freddie O'Connell reacts.
An investigation of vital work that informs all of us about the things we need to do. This work this year is especially important because it happens at a time of continued growth for the city. And I think this overall release is an opportunity to reset our thinking around growth and what it's supposed to do.
The mayor says that as he prepares his budget for this fiscal year, he will try to address some of the concerns that were found in the report. Reporting live in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you so much. We do want to get that Thursday forecast.
Yeah, getting moving here as far as the temperatures go. They were in the 40s and now we're getting closer to 60 degrees and we'll be up to, if not above 70 by the time we get to right around lunchtime. Sun is taking over the forecast once again, but only for this morning and early afternoon. Clouds will be creeping back in from west to east. Late afternoon toward the evening hours. We're still a little cooler than yesterday at this time, but we're making up some ground here pretty quickly. We're only about 5 or 6 degrees cooler for most of us. Where does that put us? It does put us at 54 in Nashville. We'll get a new update in the next half hour, and I bet you by 9 o'clock we're above the 60-degree mark. Almost all of us are now into the lower 50s, and 75 is the mark we're aiming for later on this afternoon. If you've got a green thumb, you're keeping the garden going, keeping the plants healthy here. Taking a look, 56 degrees at 9, goes to 69 by noon, 74 degrees at 3 p.m. Everything looks good, and then maybe after you're done out in the garden, the kids have some district baseball games. We have some after-school sports. 5 o'clock, 6, 7, 8, and 9 all get cloudier and cooler, ending at 64 degrees.
Steer clear traffic gets you out the door this morning at 8:04. A quick look here at I-24 Waldron Road. You make that drive in from the Rutherford County area from Laverne. Things very, very slow. You can see there the edge 30 miles per hour on that drive coming through there. Could run into a couple of problems as you make that drive. So keep in mind, you want to try to take Murfreesboro Pike if you can, Nolensville Pike. Those are good ways to steer clear. Still running into a little congestion north of town, 65 at Moores Lane coming in from Franklin. Slow traffic means you may want to take Franklin Pike. It's a good way to steer clear of any backups there.
Well, in politics this Thursday morning, the school voucher bill that Governor Bill Lee has tabled when it comes to legislation, I should say lawmakers have tabled it. Well, now it's coming up in more debates.
Right, so we've got that going on, and a lot of people would say that Governor Lee's school voucher bill was a failure. He was trying to give breaks to families when it comes to private schools and whatnot. Well, he's got this other proposal on the table, and what he was trying to do with regards to this was ease the tax burden on business owners. It was the franchise tax rebate that the governor was trying to push through this session. The House and the Senate leaders got together in a conference committee yesterday trying to iron out their differences on this bill. The Senate version calls for 3 years worth of rebates for Tennessee businesses, totaling $1.5 billion. The House version called for about half of that. And the House wanted the list of companies and the rebates to be made public. Listen to the debate.
I realize that there are arguments in the other chamber that that this law would withstand legal challenge. Obviously, our Attorney General and his team disagree with that argument.
Right now, I would say, based upon where we are, that for me personally, I would say that we're at an impasse as it relates to being able to find a solution.
Well, Governor Lee is now recommending that the state go ahead and get rid of the property portion of the franchise tax because it has been ruled unconstitutional in other states.
And a quick reminder for you, today is supposed to be the last day of the general session. We'll keep you posted as to how that develops throughout the course of the day. And still to come this morning, Tennessee lawmakers, it has been a very busy and contentious session. A lot of hot debates, the protest, the arrests in some cases that have been made. We're going to take a look at something that would make it possible for retired officers to help protect our schools, and we'll tell you why some say this is not a good idea.
We're also showing you some live looks of the Nashville skyline and keeping it close.
Systems providing protection against the storm today and every day.
Know about flooding in advance. Download the free Fox 17 Code Red weather app.
8:09 is the time. The Tennessee House of Representatives voted on a brand new law that would allow armed retired police officers to go anywhere that a current uniformed police officer could go on a school campus. They say the idea is to put more boots on the ground in an effort to make schools a little bit safer. That retired police officer will still need yearly training and a yearly background check in order to qualify and could operate on a volunteer basis.
Understand what you got here.
You got 30 years of training. You got 30 years of experience. You got 30 years or at least 20 years of training every year of active shooter and all the experience that goes with that. You got 30 years of qualifying with the firearm so you can hit what you shoot at.
Granting the power to kill a person to law enforcement is one of the most significant powers that government grants. And now we're trying to, in an obscure way, grant that power to retired law enforcement without any of the responsibility and accountability that law enforcement have. And so it's for those reasons that I can't support this legislation.
Well, he couldn't support it, but a lot of other people did. Despite that pushback, it did pass the House and pass the Senate already. It will go to the governor for a signature or veto. Well, let's take you to a blast from the past, especially for me. The Nashville Cats are going to be back after a 16-year hiatus. The Nashville Cats will be kicking off the 2024 arena football season coming up this Saturday. Now, if you're old school Nashvilleian like me, I moved here in the early 90s, you can remember the Cats. They played at Bridgestone Arena from 1998 until 2001, and then their most recent stint was from 2005 to 2007. Oh, yeah. You can see Hammond there. Some of my old guys used to watch. Andy Kelly is the quarterback. That's him, number 8. The Cats left after 2007. The Arena Football League filed for bankruptcy in 2019, but announced its return just last summer. Jeff Fisher is one of the executives with the team.
This game's different. It's about, it's a lot different, but it's entertainment. It clearly is entertainment. So we hope anybody that comes in there, when they leave with that smile, that brings them back the next time.
Now, these games will be played at Municipal Auditorium. They'll also have one more game in Clarksville as well. Kickoff for this Saturday's game is set for 7:30. They'll take on the Minnesota Myth.
And coming up in your Code Red forecast, we've got the sunshine for now, but this will sneak behind some clouds and we bring in some rain overnight. How long that will linger into your Friday, coming right at you.
New crash alert. This one's happening at I-40 at 2nd Avenue on the South Loop. We'll tell you the best ways to steer clear when we come back. Also, the debate continues yet again at the Tennessee Capitol as they're trying to figure out if they're going to allow teachers to carry guns inside of school.
Welcome back to Fox 17 News this morning.
We have continuing coverage now on a plan to allow Tennessee school staffers to carry a gun on the campus, which is now in the hands of Governor Bill Lee.
At 8:15 right now, Fox 17 News reporter Peyton Muse joins us live outside of the Capitol with reaction to this. Good morning.
Good morning, Jen and Erica. Now, this law sparking controversy both in and out of our state legislature. Protesters, including lawmakers, laying on the Capitol floor playing dead, showing their disapproval of the law allowing school staff to carry a gun if they want. Republican Representative Jody Barrett says this law is really meant to help rural counties like his in Dickson.
One of my counties is the 11th largest geographic county in the state of Tennessee. There are 2 high schools in the county, and one high school is about 18 miles away from the sheriff's office.
Rep. Barrett says the faster the response, like how Metro Police responded to the Covenant School mass shooting, the better. A parent of 2 Columbine high school students who survived the massacre in 1999 says he is not against SROs, but does not think arming teachers is the way to go.
Most schools have an emergency operations plan in place that they've developed. Most schools do not have emergency management programs.
The way this works is a written plan is set in stone. It lays out what each person within the school, including SROs, would do in an active shooter situation. The program itself has the framework on preparedness, mitigation, response, and recovery. Essentially, he says each school would appoint a teacher who is willing to take on the role of an emergency manager. Representative Barrett does say schools across the state have an emergency action plan in conjunction with law enforcement.
So this bill it actually improves that by adding a whole lot more training requirements and background checks and hoops that folks are going to have to jump through in order to be qualified to participate in the program.
He's open to additional ways to keep Tennessee schools safe.
Now, this bill sits on Governor Lee's desk awaiting a signature, and the lawmakers actually explained to me that it's actually up to the school districts to decide whether or not teachers will be allowed to carry guns on school grounds. And some districts have already sent letters out to parents saying they're not going to allow it. Reporting live at the Capitol, Peyton Muse, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
All right, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. Hey, we want to hear from you. In a live poll on our Twitter page, we asked, would you be okay with your child's teacher being armed?
Yeah, as of right now, 70.2% of you all say yes. There is still time for you to go ahead and let us know what you think about this. About 1,400 folks of y'all have already sounded off. So go to our Fox Nashville X account or our Fox Nashville Facebook page.
Erica's getting her running shoes laced up.
I sure am.
She and her mom are going to run the rock and roll marathon this weekend. You and a few thousand other people.
Yeah, more than 20,000 of us are going to be out there.
Yeah, it's going to come up this Saturday and Sunday. And so we wanted to let you know that it's going to start at 8th and Broadway in downtown Nashville and then finish up outside of Nissan Stadium. The big marathon, the big race is happening Saturday.
Yeah, more than 25 bands are going to be out there performing for the runners and the folks that are cheering everyone on. They're set up at so many different spots across the city. So just keep that in mind. It's happening Saturday and Sunday. You're going to see some road closures. You're going to see a lot of folks out there. If you're new to Nashville, big event. Don't be alarmed when you look out of your hotel room on Saturday morning.
And see throngs of people wearing their coolest marathon fashion. Okay, so speaking of fashion, what you wear on race day is directly connected to the weather. So
completely.
Are we talking layers to start the morning, or can you go out there like with the tank top and the shorts right out the gate?
See, I'm going to turn to Erica for this because I'm not a big runner, but I can tell you temperature, and then you kind of give me what you think people should do.
Right.
So we're going to start in the 60s right when the marathon's starting.
Which is perfect.
But by about 1 o'clock, noon 1 o'clock, we'll be close to 80 degrees.
Ooh.
So what would you kind of suggest?
Which is not so perfect.
No, not so much.
So if it's a 60 to start the race, what do you wear?
Yeah.
So for me, very minimal clothing.
Okay.
But there are going to be folks from other states, right, who are going to have long sleeves on, and they just start shredding clothes.
And just, a lot of people just leave them on the race route. They don't even come back and get them.
No, it's done for.
So you'd say tough through the first hour or two, and then you should be comfortable for the rest.
Yeah. Also, with Erica saying minimal clothing, don't get any ideas. It doesn't mean she's running in her skivvies, okay?
Oh my gosh.
Appropriate summer running clothing.
You know what I mean?
Let's take a look at the forecast here. We'll piece together all the numbers throughout the morning hours of the marathon itself. I have this plastic thing here almost tripped over. Here we go. Mild morning, though we will be in the 60s, 74 degrees by 10 o'clock. South wind at 10 to 20 miles per hour. Rain chance near zero. Don't worry about the rain. At least that's good. Not have to worry about getting poured on while you're trying to run or while you're watching. And the next weather maker, though, is rain. So we have no rain Saturday, but rain moves in before we get there. The chance for it here going to be overnight tonight into your Friday. We'll take a look at that right here. All of today going to be sunny until 4 o'clock, then clouds take over. Midnight has us fairly cloudy, but not quite rainy yet. Rain moves in midnight through 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, continues through noon tomorrow. And exits the Cumberland Plateau going into the afternoon. Just showers, maybe a quick downpour or two, but not going to rain out your entire day. By Friday evening, we will be on the dry side with highs in the 80s.
All right, everyone, steer clear traffic. Let's get you to I-40 at 2nd Avenue there on the South Loop. We are dealing with a crash in that particular area that is slowing things up all the way back to Fester's Lane, you believe it or not, as you make that drive into the city. So if you're coming in from the east side, just know if you need to go to that South Loop there around 2nd and 4th Avenue before you get over to Broadway, that's where this particular crash is. Fire department.
8:23 is the time, and right now Fox 17 News following some breaking news. A New York appeals court has overturned Harvey Weinstein's 2020 rape conviction from the landmark Me Too trial. New York's highest court found the judge in the trial swayed the jury with improper rulings, including a decision to let women testify about accusations that were not part of this case. The court has ordered a new trial. Weinstein, however, is going to stay behind bars. He was convicted in Los Angeles back in 2022 of another rape and then sentenced to 16 years in prison.
All right, Erica, thank you so much. Well, let's take a live look from the city of Franklin. They call this area the 5 Points area there. At least that's what the camera is called. That is pointed there in downtown Franklin at the square. They're getting set for one of their biggest events of the year. This is the 40th annual Main Street Fest. It is getting ready to take place there in the historic downtown area of Franklin. Now, there will be lots and lots of events. All begins at 10 o'clock, live music, activities for people of all ages, again, happening there in the historic and picturesque square in Franklin.
It really is. Watch out for the construction zone, too. They've got some scaffolding up right there outside of the Starbucks. That Starbucks is a focal point there in 5 Points in Franklin. So be careful as you're going through that area and have a great time if you're going to the Main Street Fest this weekend.
And of course, you want to know, well, what should I wear? I'm going out there. Do I need the umbrella? What's going to happen? I'll tell you right now, 80 degrees in Franklin on Saturday, 82 on Sunday. A mix of sun and clouds. What do I mean by that? You're going to get an hour or two worth of time where it's just complete sunshine, then an hour or two where it may get a little overcast. They're going to come in waves. Breezy for your Saturday, though. That'll be a nice addition to the forecast. A good 10, 20 mile per hour wind out of the south, so a nice warm wind. Mainly dry for both days. Don't worry about the umbrella. You can leave it at home. Not using the windshield wipers. Maybe you're driving south from Nashville down 65 to check out the Main Street Festival. Everything should be A-OK. And maybe you got to get a little bit of yard work done. I pushed the button too fast, so we'll go back and we'll take a look at it. When can you mow? You can do it today. You can't do it tomorrow. We have that rain that moves in morning into early afternoon. You're right back to it, though, on Saturday. How do you track that rain when you're on the go? Say you got plans early on your Friday, getting the kids to the bus stop, getting them home. You can check the Code Red Weather app by scanning that QR code or going to the Apple Store or Google Play Store. Just type in Code Red Weather.
Steer clear traffic gets us out to I-40 at 2nd Avenue there on the South Loop. We've got the fire department there on the scene dealing with the leftovers of a crash there that is really slowing things down. They've shut down one lane there. And to be honest, there wasn't a lot of lanes to begin with, if you understand where this is.
Right.
This is that South Loop as you make your way in. This is past I-65. You would have already made your turn for 65 at this point. So all these folks are going towards Demumbrian, Broadway, Church, and Charlotte there on the west side of that downtown loop. So heads up, and the backup is already evident right here. This is I-40 at Fessler's. This is a good, let's see, about 2 miles maybe behind where that crash is. So you can see how the crawl is going. Just give yourself extra time in order to steer clear.
It is also true with the transaction.
Tempers flare in the Tennessee legislature. A bill facing both vehement support and disdain from lawmakers. The latest on the bill relating to reparations for descendants of slaves here in our state.
This Fox 17 This Morning newscast is sponsored by Alive Hospice. You're watching Fox 17 News This Morning, your Code Red station.
A bill subject to a lot of heated debate is now tabled. We're going to have the latest from the Tennessee State Capitol in a couple of moments. Greg.
We're waking up here to abundant sunshine, beautiful looking skyline here for us this morning. We do have some hiccups of rain that will move in, quite literally. I'll explain what that means here before we get to the weekend coming up in your forecast.
And steer clear traffic takes us to I-40 at the 2nd Avenue exit there in the heart of downtown. We're going to tell you about the best ways to steer clear and the backup that this crash is causing.
Thank you so much for joining us here on a Thursday morning, Friday Eve on Fox 17 News. I'm Erica Glover.
And I'm Jennifer Waddell. We've got you covered live and local through 9 a.m. We have a story this morning that we've been following regarding a new report from Metro Nashville showing that there is a growing gap when it comes to inequity in different areas of Davidson County. So now Metro leaders are working with other community leaders to try to address what the needs are.
Yeah, what does all of this mean? Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar is joining us live from the Metro Services offices to tell us what the report is laying out.
Well, as you mentioned, the report found that there is a growing divide between the rich and the poor. Not only that, it shows that Nashville has higher poverty rates than other cities, which is bad news for people that live here. Now, yesterday, people walked across the street over to the building in front of me, it's the Metro Social Services, to listen to some of those findings. And even the mayor was there addressing hopefully how he would address some of those concerns. Metro Social Services is hoping we can close the gap for a better city for everyone. We're breaking down some of the biggest takeaways of the report. The report shows half of Nashvillians earn below a living wage, and with that in mind, they have to figure out a way to pay the high rent in Nashville. More than half of renters were paying 30% or more of their income just to afford housing that is considered financially dangerous. No wonder only a small percentage of residents say they can afford to buy a home. That's bad news for people trying to get ahead. This is a different story than Nashville's prospering businesses. Renee Pratt, the executive director of Metro Social Services, says she is not surprised by the findings.
Sometimes it's overshadowed by all the growth and the development here in Nashville. But again, we have to look at the underbelly and who we're not serving.
The mayor says that as he prepares his budget for this fiscal year, he is going to try to address some of the concerns that were outlined in that report. Reporting live in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Karen, thank you so much. We do want to check in with Greg because sunshine, but then some showers.
Yeah, a very small window of opportunity for it, and it's not going to be a lot of rain. It might only rain for an hour or two where you're at, but it's just a matter of when it gets to your doorstep. So we'll take a look at that. It's not going to be during our daylight hours, so don't go, gotta find the umbrella now. No, you're fine. Just prepare for 75 degrees and gradually increasing clouds as we go throughout the afternoon and evening, and you'll be in a good place here. Taking a look, highs in the 70s just today, and then we're done with the 70s. Because we go to the 80s starting tomorrow. 5 days in a row that will be at or above the 80-degree mark. Rain arrives overnight. I would say Nashville area not until around midnight through around 6 a.m. That's kind of our window of opportunity. And then things moving more toward the east by the time we get into the afternoon. Here is that weather maker, real slow mover here. That's why it's not going to be here until we get after sunset. Taking a look, 54 right now, and it is sunny. You can see over me right here, you have two things, blue sky and Bridgestone Arena. Bridgestone, Tim McGraw there for a concert tonight. And then we have the Preds' first home playoff game, puck drop 6:30 tomorrow night. Taking a look, temperatures are all above the 50-degree mark now. 54 in Nashville, we're going to aim for 75. We get there right in the middle of the day, and then tomorrow, once the rain moves out, after a couple hours, the sun will come back out for you. We're going to hit 83 degrees for your Friday, 83 on Saturday, and 85 degrees on Sunday.
Steer clear traffic takes us to I-40 at 2nd Avenue here. This is on the South Loop. As you make that drive towards DeMumbrian, towards Broadway, and towards the Church Avenue and Church Street, and Charlotte Avenue exit there. Police on the scene. The fire department has left. Medical personnel was there as well. They have left as well. Excuse me. All right. Let's go to I-40. I-40 at Fester's Lane as you make that drive in from the east side. I go through a lot here sometimes, all right? It catches a flat tire occasionally. That drive coming in from the east is looking okay. We do have a bit of a crawl there because of that crash up ahead. You could take Lebanon Pike or Elm Hill Pike as the best ways to steer clear.
Justin, thanks. 8:35 is the time right now. We have a follow-up after weeks worth of heated debate on a topic, and there have been many this legislative session, but on a topic that really brought a lot of intense conversation. The Tennessee House has now killed a bill that would have banned local governments from paying either to study or to give out money for reparations for slavery.
There can never be a morally appropriate reason for unjustly depriving a person of their God-given liberty and selling them into servitude. This is true whether the enslaver is an African monarchy or a Mexican cartel. It is also true whether the transaction...
To say to anyone, local government, to individuals, you cannot and you should not study reparations. It's ugly. For lack of a better word, it's ugly.
This proposal was initially introduced 1 year ago by Representative John Reagan. The bill had a resurgence during the move to remove and replace the Tennessee State University Board. If you'd like to read more, head to fox17.com.
President Biden has granted executive clemency to 16 people, including 3 here in Tennessee.
Yeah, so we're getting some more updates. This does include Xavier Martez Parnell out of Clarksville. Now, he was sentenced to 25 years in prison for drug possession with the intent to distribute. It's now reduced to 17.5 years. The others were from Tennessee, also doing time for drug charges.
The city of Franklin is trying to keep police officers, and so they're upping the ante. We'll tell you about the move that they hope will make a lasting change.
And why don't we take a live look out there?
Lungs, not leaking into your home. Chimney, honest, dependable, affordable.
Injured, hire the largest injury firm in the world. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
All right, Fox 17 News has some more breaking news. Hendersonville IndyCar driver Joseph Newgarden has been stripped of his season-opening IndyCar victory. Team Penske teammate Scott McLaughlin, who finished third in the opener over in St. Petersburg, Florida, also disqualified. The team is accused of manipulating software that makes it easier to pass other cars. Although Newgarden is accused of cheating in the March 10th opener, IndyCar says that it was not discovered until Sunday morning's warm-up, nearly 2 months later. The disqualifications gave the victory to Pato O'Ward, who finished second.
I wonder if he has to give back the money, too. Does he have to give back the prize money?
Great point.
Okay. In your community this morning, the city of Franklin just approved rates for their police department. We're talking about rates as in raises there for the police department, a little bit more green in the paycheck. This is as a result of a move by the mayor as well as the alderman there in Franklin.
All right, so let's break it down. If you are coming into the city of Franklin and you want to be a police officer and you have no experience at all, you will start at $60,000 a year. Police Chief Deb Faulkner says, and I quote, "I encourage anyone who wants a rewarding career in a city that values and supports its police officers to apply."
Well, also happening in your community when it comes to first responders, the city of Nashville is introducing some brand new response trucks, and they are aimed at trying to improve the emergency response times out there. Officials say these state-of-the-art trucks will reduce the response time so they can get to car wrecks as well as elevator rescues, as well as other different kind of things that are out there. Jen, can you imagine the number of elevator rescues that the fire department has probably had now compared to 10 years ago?
Well, yeah, you think all the new skyscrapers that we've got.
A bunch of new elevators. That is very interesting.
Yeah. All right, 8:41 is the time right now. Let's get a quick check of your forecast. Greg has left us the what we like to call the Cliff Notes version and the quick look at your Preds playoff forecast. Reminder, Game 3 of the playoffs against the Canucks going to be here at home Friday at 6:30. 80 degrees on Friday. Mostly sunny. Winds just very slight. It's going to be a beautiful day to be in downtown into the afternoon and well into the night. We've got Game 4 also here in Nashville coming up Sunday. We'll take a look at that in the deeper dive of your forecast in a few minutes.
Steer clear traffic for you. Let's get you out and about to I-40 at Spence Lane. We got a disabled vehicle there on the shoulder of the road, so heads up as you make that drive in from the east side. Could slow you up a little bit. Still dealing with the leftovers of this crash. I-40 at 2nd Avenue on the South Loop. Give yourself extra time. Don't get off and try to maneuver here. Give yourself extra time. That's going to be the best way to steer clear.
Still to come on Fox 17 News this morning, changes being made to Brookmead Park. What city leaders are planning for this site west of Nashville, which was a former homeless encampment.
Plus, we've got the very latest on the Nashville Predators as they prepare for playoff hockey.
The trucking company and the insurance company are not concerned with the victim. I was worried about being able to pay my bills. I enjoyed you representing me because I knew I had to have the best.
Welcome back. This morning we are hearing much more from neighbors who live near Brookmead Park. Now, we've covered this extensively, and we're hearing from leaders in the area who say it's going to take, what, till 2025?
To get this reopened to the public. Mind you, this is a public park, but for years, people working within the city let this park essentially get overrun by homeless encampments. And our Fox 17 News reporter, Amanda Chin, joining us now. Amanda, I know you talked with the chair of the Metro Parks Board about why the park won't even reopen until 2025. What's the explanation here?
Yeah, well, these neighbors were very outspoken about the homeless encampment inside Brookmead Park for years. They pushed for change, but they aren't happy with this slow-moving process to restore the park. Now, Metro Park says it's a long process to get Brookmead back to the community, and we showed you what it used to look like inside the park for more than a decade. Now, the community and city leaders acknowledged it was not a safe place for anyone to be. So when it finally closed, the community was hopeful. But now, a year and a half later, the Metro Parks board chair tells me the procurement process is still happening while they are working to finalize the contractor, which is why it won't open until 2025. The parks board chair also says the park will return to its original state, and because of the topography, contractors will just restore walking paths and will add nothing new.
Yeah, I think it's just a huge disservice to this community. Our community has changed since before COVID. We have over 4,000 new residents. They don't have a place to walk their dog. They don't have a place to have a picnic. This is their pocket park here, and there are 3 districts that surround this park, and it's a huge disservice to us that they're not giving us anything that this community can use.
Man, I can understand the frustration that we're hearing in her voice. We know that these community members flat out feel like Metro Parks has turned a blind eye, hasn't listened to any of their feedback, and this goes back for years.
Right, for sure. And a few months ago, I actually reported on the design and consultant firm hired by Metro Parks. Now, they did get some slack since they claimed they created a plan with public engagement. Turns out they didn't engage the public. So a survey was then sent out to the community. Well, everything the community wanted to see, they actually aren't getting, as mentioned by Dee Dee before. So Metro Park says it was because of the topography, like I said, but the community is pushing back on that, and they feel like there are other parks in the area that have a very similar topography, but are getting those soccer fields, those pavilions, everything that they wanted to see, but they're not getting.
You know what would be fascinating, Amanda, would be to run a tally of the cost to taxpayers for all the years that they have not been able to use this park and will not be able to use it. See what that dollar figure is. Right. I mean, if that was my park, I'd be saying, I want my money back.
Yeah.
Where's my taxpayer money that for a park I can't even use?
There's much more to come.
Great
Amanda,
reporting.
thank you. Tonight on Fox 17 News at 9, there is an issue putting your safety at risk. Violent criminals released on low or no bond, and some of them get out and then commit even worse crimes.
It is a tragedy that so many families have experienced. Take, for example, Anton Rucker. He's a man with a long violent criminal history who was free on bond out of Rutherford County, who is now charged with killing a person in a Nashville restaurant Easter Sunday. Experts say this is one of many examples.
He was a felon. He was carrying a weapon. He had a long criminal history. Why are we letting him back out on the street? Because that's his job. His job is violence, addiction, chaos, and victimization. That's his job.
Tonight on Fox 17 News at 9, our Dennis Ferrier paints a startling picture with example after example of a justice system failing to keep Middle Tennesseans safe.
8:49 your time, taking a look at the forecast here for you, giving you all the notes you need before we get out the door and get rolling here on this Thursday. 54 degrees. We are mainly sunny, and that will continue to be how we look until middle to late afternoon. Then clouds begin to move in from west to east. So as far as outside activities, maybe that is even a patio lunch. Or maybe you make the lunch indoors and just go sit outside. 66 degrees at 11, 69 at noon, and 71 at 1 p.m. Here's the cloud cover moving in. You can see here through 4 p.m. still relatively sunny. And then after that, we take this through midnight. Clouds continue to increase from west to east, and so do a few showers begin to pop up here in our westernmost counties. Those continue to move through 6 o'clock. This is slowing down even more than it looked earlier in the morning. So as you're waking up with us from 4 o'clock until 9 tomorrow for your Friday, I'll be tracking what is on the radar, and we could see even a couple heavier downpours. This will move out by roughly 1, 2 o'clock in the afternoon for all of us. 1 or 2 pop-ups around late afternoon. Can't be ruled out over the plateau, but most of us, once that initial push of rain moves in, we're dry for the rest of the weekend. Take a look here at your forecast. We're boosting the heat. 75 today and then 80s Friday through Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. Our next storm chance we'll begin to talk about tomorrow will be Monday into Tuesday. Until then, just light rainfall with a couple little downpours overnight tonight into tomorrow.
Steer clear traffic for you. Let's take a look at what we've got going on here at I-40 at Spence Lane. That's over on the east side. Watch out, could be a couple of pedestrians up and about walking around this area trying to take care of whatever it is happening there to these cars. Could cause some minor backups there. You can use Elm Hill Pike or Lebanon Pike is the best way to steer clear. We have cleared that accident on I-40 at 2nd Avenue. Great news there. Drive times as we leave you for this 8 o'clock hour, 36 minutes in from Hendersonville, under an hour from Murfreesboro.
Before we leave you, though, we are going to get you updated on the top stories of the morning. The bill subject to heated debate that is now tabled. We've got the latest from the state capitol as they are supposed to be wrapping up this legislative session today.
Full sites, South Rucker Road in Christiana. Bid now, online only until Thursday, April 25th at 6 p.m.
Let's go sell something. CompassMontgomery.com.
Right now, we want to bring up some more politics and bring you up to speed because we do have a follow-up after weeks of heated debate. The Tennessee House killing the bill that would have banned local governments from paying to either study or dispense money for reparations when it comes to slavery.
So this proposal initially introduced a year ago by Representative John Reagan. It came up, you may remember, during the time that there was a move to replace the TSU, Tennessee State University Governing Board. An update this morning as a Davidson County judge has now set bond at $2.5 million for the man accused of poisoning and killing his pregnant girlfriend.
Former Tennessee Titan scout Blaze Taylor is charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. He's accused of poisoning his girlfriend, Jade Benning, back in February of 2023. Benning and her unborn child both died. Taylor was arrested in Utah earlier this month, and his next court appearance is set for May 9th.
President Biden has granted clemency to 16 people, including 3 right here in Tennessee.
Yeah, so now we're getting some names.
Yeah, one of the people who was granted clemency is Xavier Martez Parnell of Clarksville, sentenced to 25 years in prison for drug possession with intent to distribute, reduced now to 17.5 years. The others from Tennessee also doing time for drug offenses.
We also want to talk about the Predators. Now is your chance to see and cheer for your playoff Preds live at Bridgestone Arena. Fox 17 News encouraging you to scan the QR code right here on your screen or go to fox17.com/contest. Yes, to enter for a chance to receive 2 tickets to either the Nashville Predators playoff game 3 or playoff game 4, but they're both at Bridgestone Arena on April 26th or April 28th. Okay, so we do have to always say random selection, message and data rates may apply, but for complete contest details, go to fox17.com. You can also check out the watch parties that are going to be outside.
Absolutely. So what's the forecast shaping up to be? Well, right now we've got the sunshine. There will be some rain the first half of tomorrow. Do not let that scare you away from any of the watch parties because the rain will move out by the time we get to mid-afternoon, and then we'll be okay. 80 degrees right around when the puck drops at 6:30. Mostly sunny leading into it. Afternoon highs will be in the low 80s.